The NBA playoffs second round are set and ready to go. The Cavs beat the Orlando Magic 106-94 behind Donovan Mitchell's 39 points. Up next, they'll face the number 1 seeded Celtics tomorrow. The number 2 seed Knicks open their second round series tonight with the Indiana Pacers. Madison Square Garden playing host at 6:30. It's game 2 between the T-Wolves and Nuggets, and Denver and Minnesota leads the series 1-0 after stealing game 1 on Saturday. Tip-off in Denver set for 9. The Texas Rangers took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals with a 3-2 win in extra innings yesterday. Tonight, they start a roadie against the Oakland A's with first pitch at 8:40, a game you can catch live on San Antonio Sports Star at 8 o'clock. The Astros dropped 2 of 3 against the Mariners, falling 5-4 in the finale. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And there we go.
Wow.
A new era. Wow. A new era begins, Rob. What do you think of that music?
That was it was like a wall of sound just came washing over me. That was
to me, it makes me feel like it's like conquering hero music.
Yeah, and you are indeed the conquering hero.
No, we are.
Well, no, I'm proud to welcome you onto the air. I am proud to say for the first and inaugural, this is AJ Hoffman, the dude. No, honestly, that was a worthy intro to AJ Hoffman coming in and guiding us.
This is the new Morning Huddle.
Yes, it is.
I am AJ Hoffman. He is Rob Thompson. We've got more introductions to do because the show is growing. We're adding people. I mean, it's been you and a camera, right? Like for the last, you've been talking to a camera.
And again, RJ Ochoa, thanks for everything you did. But as we were filling a void, dude, I've been living in a cave for the last 3 months, and literally, you know what it would be like now if you weren't here and everybody else wasn't here. The lights would be off, and it would be me and Edwin. It's like taking overnight. So, man, not only am I surrounded by friends of like mind, but talented friends of like.
Well, Edwin is still here.
Yes,
but Edwin has help too in the building. We've got a new voice on the morning show as well. His name is Vic. Hello, Vic.
Hello.
Vic is
good morning, everyone.
Listen, this is what I told the guys here when we were doing our courtship and planning this thing out. I said, I'm very difficult to work with. You're gonna need more bodies than what we've got, because like they were saying, what are you gonna ask of your producer? And I said basically everything. And they said, okay, well we're gonna bulk up that room back there. So now we got 2 bodies instead of 1. There's 2 bodies in the studio here instead of 1, and we're going to have some fun, I believe. And this weekend was a good start. It kind of let me know the vibe of the station. I got to go out and hang with the fellas.
Yeah, I got baptized at the Roo Pub.
Yeah, the Roo Pub, where and we'll get into some of the things that happened at the Roo Pub a little bit later on. But Minix is like he thinks he's like royalty at that place. He's like,
well, he is royalty at that place. He rules the roost.
All the waitresses come and hug Minix, and you know.
Well, he's a good tipper.
Okay, well that's good.
I'll tell you why. Honestly, the reason he knows all of the staff there is most of them all grew up in that neighborhood, and they're all his daughter's age. So he's known those girls since they were in high school and all the way through college and all of that. So he's kind of like, you walk in there and he's like Mr. Roo. He's the Kanga to the Roo.
I mean,
because
he knows all of them.
Well, again,
and his wife was there with us.
Well, they do spend. Jason does spend a fair amount of time there.
Okay,
it's one of those. He's not quite Norm, but because that's more James Pledger. James Pledger has his own like memorial stool there.
Okay,
so
yeah, I had a bar like that outside of Vegas that I was like, I had my own spot at the bar, and if I showed up at the bar and someone was in it, I would kindly ask him to move.
Pardon me.
Excuse me. That's my seat.
So did you aspire to that? Because I always wanted that. I wanted to be the dude at the bar, but I never had a
No.
neighborhood bar.
No. I only had the whole time. I was in Vegas for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
I made one friend. I'm not good at making friends. I'm not social. So like I notice here all the on-air staff is like they're boys, they're buddies. They like hang out and they talk about like at this time, like what they send a group chat and saying, "Hey, we're gonna watch the fights at Rue Pub." And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know anybody here. This will save me about $150 from ordering a couple pay-per-views and watching it on my iPad and my phone. So I was like, this is a good time for me to get out and get to know the fellas a little. So I say, all right. Then they act like, I mean, they're doing this all the time. They're always hanging out together. And I'm like, this is crazy. I had a co-host, the same co-host in Houston for 12 years.
Didn't know his name.
I knew his name, but the times that we hung out socially outside of work, I mean, I could probably count on two hands over 12 years. Now, it's not that we weren't friends. We were, but and most of the time when we would hang out is when we go to Vegas. That's when we'd become boys, you know. Like, but generally, like my family's here, and when I'm done working, I'm gonna go. I spend time with my kids. I spend time with my wife. They're not here now, so I'm like, oh, well, all right,
all right.
But yeah, I only made one friend the entire time. He happened to own a bar, and so I was a regular there. My oldest son, actually works at that bar.
That's a good friend to have.
Yeah, like he got him the job because he's my only friend. He's only 16, so he works at the bar, but he technically works at the food truck that's outside the bar.
But
he can do everything at the bar except touch alcohol.
Yeah,
so,
I worked at a bar when I was underage, but you could legal as long as I was just bar backing. You know, you can do that.
You can do all those things. So it's but it's also kind of weird. My son is like he's 6'5".
Is he?
And he gets a lot of the town that he's in, that their bar is in, is called Boulder City. It's right outside of Vegas. It's where the Hoover Dam is.
Right. I know that.
Okay.
So you're not Henderson.
Yeah, I wasn't Henderson.
Past Henderson.
Boulder City's a little past Henderson. Yeah. But I would drive out of Henderson because Boulder City's like it's like Mayberry. It's like it's like a throwback to a different age, you know. For a good example around here, and it's not that way anymore because everything's grown so much, but I would bet 10, 15 years ago, if you drove out to Fredericksburg or New Braunfels.
So is it kind of like a little resort area because of Hoover? That's where everybody goes
it's
out
like
there.
A tourist town. It's a tourist town.
And all that. Gotcha. It feels like Fredericksburg.
Yeah. But so it's a small town, but I'm pretty sure there's a swinger population there. And these are almost all retired couples living there. It's more expensive to live there than it is to live in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a community where I think there's some of that going on.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
All right,
because I learned this the hard way. Did you ever see?
You need permission from your wife to be a swinger.
No, well, I would like to think.
I thought that's what you learned the hard way.
Did you see at some point any upside down pineapples? That's a strange and random question.
I did not. What is that? Is that a sign?
I had a shirt on at a party one night, and it was like a Hawaiian shirt. I tend to wear those.
What, you?
And it had these pineapples, and some of them were upside down. And I'm talking to this rather exotic woman.
Okay.
And she starts hinting about some crazy stuff with my wife, like right there. And I was like, "What is going on?" She goes, "Well, your shirt, the upside down pineapples."
That's a
and I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "That is the tell for swingers. If you have an upside down pineapple, like in your grocery cart, you can go cruise the grocery store to find people of like, yes,
wow,
yeah." And then if you see it like on a patio, like that's a swinger house.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the kind of code words that you got to be real careful with, man. You get drawn into some weird conversations.
Well, my son has been propositioned.
Oh, man.
And my buddy has had to be like,
that's one of those teachable moments.
Ma'am, that at the time, I think he was 15 at the time. Ma'am, he's 15 years old.
But he's 6'5", so he looks, Oh man.
But yeah, so that's my only. I'm not a go out guy. I'm not a.
Well, our job.
But it was a good time.
Yeah, and we are a close knit. You're gonna fit right in. First of all, you're a dude.
I mean, well, I just told you, I'm nothing like the rest of you.
But we
I
are
don't
welcome.
know that I'm gonna fit
you
in.
are. We're all type A types. We all love to, go out and shoot the whatevers and sit around and do the stuff that we get paid to do later. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
So, we do a lot of stuff together, but our lifestyle precludes a lot of that stuff. Like Minix, that dude, they're sleeping until crack of noon.
Yes.
Having the butler show up with the breakfast, getting that shave like that TV dude Joe gets. So those guys live a different life than we do. We're the grunts of the world.
I have not done morning radio since 2007.
I'm here to be with you. I know it's going to be rough. It is. This is not the easiest thing to adopt.
I'll say this, though. When I was in Houston, I was the program director. And I would often see my morning guys leave at like 10 o'clock and go, I think I'm going to move my show to the mornings.
Yeah.
Because they've got a full day of life ahead of them. So I'm looking forward to that.
You do have your life.
I'm going to have a full day of life ahead of me. I'm going to have to go to bed at like 9 o'clock.
I'll tell you, everybody adjusts a different way. And I've talked to morning guys across the country since I started this. How do you do it? How do you handle sleep? How do you do that? Like down the hall, Trey Ware, who's been doing the mornings forever, he gets to work at midnight. This cat rolls in at midnight. So he lives a vampire lifestyle.
You would think also, I think he might be a vampire.
He very likely
everybody tells me, he comes in the middle of the night, and they told me how old he is. He looks like he's 30.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. He's been sucking the blood of interns.
You know who does that? Vampires don't age. I mean, it may be a real thing.
He just cycles through interns.
It's a good call.
Just keeps staying young. So he does that. Other guys, I'm a napper. So
you nap after this?
I'll go home. I try to turn the phone off, close the door, draw the shades between. I want 2 hours is my chase, and I won't sleep past 4 o'clock. So
okay,
and if you sleep more than that, you can't go to sleep. And then I'll go to bed 10:30, and between the two, that's 7 or 8 hours. I seem to function pretty good. I can tell you, I couldn't have done this 15 years ago.
Okay,
but I think you'll be fine. It's an adjustment. You're gonna. There's the great thing about it is yes, you can a tea time at noon.
Yeah,
if you want that, go to the gym and do all that. But my advice is find that pattern first, get it in there now, because the adjustment period after that gets a little bit more difficult.
A nap does seem nice.
Oh, dude, it is glorious.
And I wanted to take a nap yesterday, but I was like, no, not going to do it.
You did the right thing.
Yeah.
What's your caffeine intake like?
It's heavy.
Yeah, I would adjust that to slow the caffeine down after about noon.
Oh, really yeah, that's a good call. I mean,
because you'll find that the residual stays with you.
Past. It'll take some time.
Here's the other thing.
I'll find a balance.
One last thing that I will recommend to you, because not only are you adjusting to this new thing, but you're kind of adjusting to being on your own. Find a workout routine quick.
Oh yeah.
This the morning thing will get you.
Okay.
You get real.
You worried about me getting fat?
I've watched other guys come and go, and the morning thing just tends to add pounds. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's bad calories early. I don't know what it is. So I always tell everybody, find your routine early and make sure there's a good workout.
I kind of think this is going to like slow down my alcohol intake.
It will. That is a truthful thing. Here's the other thing. You'll day drink a lot.
Yeah,
the intake starts a bit earlier, so you're the fun guy by 5.
All right. We got we're not going to talk about nonsense the whole show, but we will talk about nonsense a lot on this show. We're going to have some fun. I'm excited to be in here with Rob. I'm excited to be here in San Antonio. Excited to get to know this city. But that's all stuff. We can't do it all at once, Rob. It's going to take some time.
We got all the time in the world.
All right. You know who might not have all the time in the world? Probably thought they did coming into this postseason was the Denver Nuggets, and met their match. We'll discuss that series and more on the other side here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
94.1.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah!
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hurry! Time's running out to shop spring savings at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to spring into deals on the appliances you need. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select LG major appliances. Because Lowe's knows spring savings. Offers valid through 5/15. Selection varies by location. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate. Because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Looking to step up your Mother's Day flowers? The Home Depot has an idea. Let Mom's Green Thumb do some digging with colorful flowers, pots, and premium soils to bring out the most in her patios, walkways, and gardens. Right now, get Vigoro potting soil just $8.97 for strong, healthy, vibrant plants, indoors and outside. Shop our wide selection online and pick up your order in-store and give Mom the gift of a beautiful garden. Get Vigoro potting soil just $8.97 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interview dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Come to Generations Federal Credit Union for a great competitive rate on a home equity loan. Consolidate debt, pay off credit cards, renovate your home, and more. With flexible terms, fixed rates, and minimal closing costs. All with easy applications and fast local decisions. Apply today at Generations Federal Credit Union. Rates and terms subject to approval and may change without notice. Full terms and conditions at mygenfcu.org/home equity. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to The Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
All right. We're gonna change the music up around here. It's gonna happen.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. This is
You
the
don't
Morning
like
Huddle.
elevator music?
No, it's not. Well, I mean, I'm cool with it on an elevator.
I'm not even cool with it there. One of the things you're going to find as you learn San Antonio is, we have one grocery store.
It's HEB.
HEB. And you're used to Houston. Same thing.
My wife, this is like when we decided to move here, she's like, oh, I'll have an HEB again.
Yeah, that's the benefit of it.
She's been miserable without HEB.
What do you got? Ralph's out there? And
they've got Albertsons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Smith's.
Oh, yeah. Smith's big on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you get the HEB.
Yeah.
But as I've aged, I aspire to be the program director for the music that's gone on in HEB. If you hit it at the right time, it's a jam.
Is it?
Well, it's a sign of age, but
I guess I never think about it.
Wait till you get there and you're like jamming to Metallica. I've never been.
I'll have to consider that going forward.
Hit little Inner Sandman.
I mean, that's a good way to you're just rolling through the grocery store, you're upside down pineapple in your cart, just jamming out. Yeah.
Looking for the fun couple.
This is the Morning Huddle, the new Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm AJ Hoffman. He is Rob Thompson. And two people said something this morning that I find quite annoying. One of them was Rob.
I'm glad.
He said the same thing that Mike Greenberg said this morning. The Timberwolves steal game one from the Nuggets. I got news for you, Rob and Mike Greenberg. They didn't steal that game. They were up double digits with like a minute to go. They flat out beat the Denver Nuggets.
But they're on the road. That's theft. You're not supposed to win on the road in game one. That's stealing. Right? No,
that's you. That's the Nuggets. What my kid would say. That's the Nuggets sold. You can't sell game one. You can't sell in your own building. Game one.
Were they ever in the lead? Did they ever have a lead?
They had a lead.
Okay.
Yeah, they had an early lead, but I think their biggest lead in the game was 6 points. The game was pretty back and forth, but when one team took control, it was the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm of the belief, and this isn't, I guess you guys don't know. You guys probably never heard me on a microphone before, but I'm going to tell you this, and I might be lying. I might not be. But a couple weeks ago, I said, the Wolves can beat the Nuggets. The Wolves get there, they can beat these Denver Nuggets. They are built to beat this team because they've got the size to slow down Jokic. And I think we saw that on Saturday. You and I have differing opinions on Karl Anthony Towns. I think Karl Anthony Towns, because he is the secondary defender on Jokic, most teams don't have a player like him to be the secondary defender. The Timberwolves are a rare breed in today's NBA in that they value defense so much more than an average franchise. There are, at most times, 4 elite defenders on the floor for the Timberwolves, and Karl Anthony Towns is probably the crappiest defender, and he's an above-average NBA defender. That's going to be a problem for Jokic, who usually teams will have one big they can throw at him. Jokic is going to get him in foul trouble. And then once they're out of the way, it's good night. I don't think that's happening between Gobert and Reed and Cat. There's so many bodies that they can throw at Jokic that he's always going to have. He may end up being in foul trouble. And they also have this fella you may have heard of recently, who is, he and Jalen Brunson seem to be taking the NBA by storm in these playoffs. If you didn't know 2 weeks ago how good Anthony Edwards is, you're starting to find out in a hurry. As he put up, 43 in game one? I think the T-Wolves are winning this series.
It's going to be difficult. Well, I'll say this. I think there was a little of a hangover from the Nuggets taking care of the Lakers. I think that that was a blood feud that they had to get past, that the Lakers, I think, are a far better team than a lot of people are giving them credit for. They just happened to run into the Nuggets, and it was a much more difficult series than a lot of people thought it was. I think there's that. I think there's a little bit of rust. I think there's a little bit of being at home. When I watched the game, the thing that stuck out with me was what the Timberwolves are capable of, is what you brought up, but it ain't Karl Anthony. It's Naz Reid, man.
Yeah.
Naz Reid is the difference maker. Karl will end up being a problem. And here's the reason why Karl's going to be a problem. For the Nuggets to win, they're going to have to get other guys involved. And for me, the way Aaron Gordon played the other night, 9 points, defensively, I think he was working too hard. Watch what they do with Aaron Gordon. I think he might be the separator when they get at it tonight. And if he can go off, if they can get that third going, Minnesota's going to have to address something that they did in the other night. Defense will stay with them. But Minnesota also has a bit of a problem, is they don't always shoot well. And Denver has buckets. I like the Timberwolves. I think they're going to split here. I think they're going to split in Minnesota. I think it's going to go 7. I don't know what the separator is going to be, but what I saw early was not enough Gordon on the Nuggets side. And if I'm a Nugget, I'm very worried about Jaden McDaniels. The Nuggets did not allow McDaniels to do anything, and they still lost.
Yeah.
And McDaniels is a valuable and important part of this offense. And to go 0 and to lose, dude, I'm sweating if I'm Denver. That's scary.
Well, that's funny. Like last year when these two teams played, Naz Reid was out, McDaniels was out.
Mm-hmm.
McDaniels was still out for game 1, technically. At least that's what it looked like. He was a disaster, but something's coming from him. And then I don't know. The Nuggets tonight are a 5.5 point favorite.
Probably right.
You think so?
Well, here's the problem with Minnesota. This is their first go around, and it's going to be real difficult for Finch to keep that mustard hot, because they got the split. They've done it. And the great teams put the foot on the neck. I'm just not sure they're a great team yet. You know what I mean?
You know, they were the 1 seed in the, they were going to be the 1
Spurs
seed in the
gave it
West.
to them. Spurs, because of a couple of late wins, gave them.
They led the Western Conference for a good chunk of the year. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
To me, what you just said, it's their kind of their first rodeo. It's New York Knicks' first rodeo.
Dude.
And when they started that series against the Sixers, people were like, okay. I mean, yeah, it's a nice start, but can they hold up against this team that's a lot more battle tested? And they did.
Okay, I want to ask you a question about the stars, Anthony Edwards and Joker.
Okay.
I think, we're seeing a lot of talk about Anthony Edwards, and certainly he does look great. I mean, he does. But
I've heard 3 people in the last week say he looks like Michael Jordan.
Oh, he does. But when it comes down to it, being your real self, Game 7, 3 minutes to go, who do you trust?
The truth is, I want the ball in the hands of a guy who has some versatility to him. I want the decision maker to have the ball. I trust Anthony Edwards.
I thought you were describing Joker. As you were doing that, I thought you were going.
Is Joker going to bring the ball up the court and be out there dribbling and decide? I don't know. We've got a lot more to talk about on this, including we're going to talk about Anthony Edwards later on in the show and talk about where he's at and who like I said, the Jordan comp obviously is absurd for anyone and unfair for anyone. But we're going to talk about him as he relates to a fella here in San Antonio. We'll do that and a lot more here on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, the NBA playoffs are starting to heat up. In fact, one of the best series there is underway, Minnesota and Denver.
Yeah, we'll have all the reaction from Game 1 and look ahead to Monday night's Game 2. Plus, the big fight over the weekend, Mario Barrios, Canelo, how did they do? What about the Kentucky Derby? How broke is Joe Reinagle? We'll find out Monday at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Feel that heat? That's how it should feel when you're outdoors watching your favorite team coming up to bat, not in your home. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 and get a free quote for new energy-efficient windows.
PSA for anyone who's not the best at remembering dates. Mother's Day is May 12th. Luckily, finding something she'll love is easy. Just go to Kohl's. I got a Sephora fragrance set for $35. Then with the extra 20% off, I scored cute PJs for just $19.99 and jewelry for under $30. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash and found even more great prices across the store. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end May 12th. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Febreze. Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girls.
Hey, hit the road. How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're going to have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
Whether this is her first Mother's Day or her 40th, she deserves more. Shop tons of stunning on-trend jewelry for every budget at Diamonds Direct. Diamond fashion jewelry, beautiful birthstones, everyday pearls starting at just $200. Commemorate the real loves of her life with a gorgeous pendant featuring the birthstone of the one who made her mom. This Mother's Day, Diamonds Direct is everything you need to say thank you. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
This is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the outdoor stuff that you love to do, like golfing, hiking, biking, jogging, playing on the beach. Hey, it's James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints, like your knees, hips, back, shoulders. QC's regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. QC medical professionals are under the direction of Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, who is an orthopedic surgeon who became the future pioneer in regenerative medicine. He knew there had to be a better way. So call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Easy Cater. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Whether you need food for catered meetings or company events, Easy Cater has everything to make food for work, work. Seriously, it's all right here in one place. Coffee, snacks, breakfast, daily employee lunches, you name it. Whether you run a nonprofit or a company with offices nationwide, we've got you covered. Anywhere work happens, Easy Cater has everything you need to make food for work, work. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Hey, this is Greedy. Join me today at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're back on the Morning Huddle 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star. I got to get used to when I'm supposed to come in.
Yeah, how's your chair? You comfortable?
Comfortable enough. Yeah, it'll do. How's yours?
Not good, but that's just this.
You know what? I was gonna save this for a little later, but I guess you guys have noticed Rob
dude.
Groaning like
You're
he's
gonna
an
find out. I
800-year-old
got
man.
a bad lower back that thank God for Arasi that's kind of kept me out of traction over the years. But yeah, I was building a chicken coop yesterday, and
did you guys know Rob has chickens?
Yeah.
Is that like a thing that gets talked about on the air?
I live on the property with chickens. My father keeps the chickens, but now I have, my father's 83, and
I'm working with a farmer basically.
Well, I kind of live on a little bit of property, so I didn't want to do this. I just looked out my window and saw my 83-year-old father dragging lumber yesterday, and we'd lost a chicken the night before, and evidently
to a wolf.
Well, probably no, it's a coyote, I'm sure. But we were talking about, you can tell what got your chicken by what's left. Like if a raccoon gets your chicken,
there's probably a lot left
because they only eat the livers.
Really?
Yeah, and they'll leave a whole chicken, but they only eat one specific thing.
I'm a thigh man myself.
And a coyote will just leave the beak and feet. I mean, they'll eat everything, bones and all. And then you can kind of tell by what's left by what got it. And we believe this was a coyote because there was just just feathers. But anyway, spent all day yesterday building a chicken coop, like a full on chicken coop with a little walking ramp. I mean, this was a luxury deal here. I got AstroTurf on the ground, got a little place for the seeds.
These are bougie chickens.
Oh man, they are. Got some silkies.
It's funny because this came down. At the time we were supposed to have dinner.
We were going to have steaks.
Early dinner yesterday.
Yes.
And everybody told me when we were at Root Pub. I don't know if have you been invited to Rob's house before?
No, it's rare.
Everybody was like, "Oh, Rob, yeah, if he's inviting you to his house, he's going to find a way to cancel it."
Did they really? Good.
They did. I said,
"You've been baptized."
I said, "No." I said,
"I want you to feel privileged when you get there."
He said, "I think he wants to do some bonding."
I do.
And Minnick said, "Okay, we'll see.
We will by the end of this week."
And then
I
sure
bought your
enough,
steak
yesterday he calls and he says, "Hey, you mind if we postpone?" And I was like, "Wow, they were right.
They
were right about him.
They are." Also, I saved you some time. I think 1604 was shut down yesterday too.
I was gonna take my helicopter.
You know what? You should have. I was going to send it. I was going to send mine, but
No. Don't go out of your way. Don't go out of your way for me.
No, seriously. We are going to have a fine steak, overlook a fine evening.
The beautiful thing is, if we would have had dinner at 3:00, it would have been okay as far as the NBA goes, because the NBA decided we're going to put the only game 7, the only one that we have in the whole first round, it's going to happen before lunchtime. What?
Okay, so who had the game? ABC? ABC had the game, or was that a TNT game?
I think it was ABC.
You know what? Did they also have the F1 race?
I don't think so.
They did.
ABC had the F1 race.
So I think
they did.
AJ, I think F1 took precedence over the NBA in the ABC eyes.
Oh my God. That is wild if that's the case.
Well, I can't imagine because
while the NBA is in the middle of contract negotiations for where their TV is going to be, you're bumping them for the F1 race.
I think that's the case, right?
That's why there wasn't a game. That's why the Cavs Magic wasn't at 2:30. It was at noon.
To make room for F1.
So what if the Mavs and Clippers would have had a game 7? Would F1 have gotten bumped?
I think F1. I bet.
Or
they
would the
probably
Mavs game been on
ESPN? Probably.
Or TNT.
Or TNT. That might have been a TNT feed.
Boy, it's kind of maybe it's telling of where the NBA is.
It wouldn't happen to the NFL, would it?
Oh my God! They would have said F what?
F you.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the game 7, while no one cared about it outside of Cleveland and Orlando, and I'm not sure they even cared there because they know what's ahead of them. As the Cavs are 106-94 winners, they will now face the Boston Celtics. I'm sure that'll go well for Cleveland. But Orlando was up almost 20 points in this game. And I thought, man, they're going to wipe them out. And just an absolute demolition in the second half as the Cavs embarrassed the Magic, run away from them. And we were talking, I think we were talking on Saturday, and then we were talking this morning about as great as Paolo is, boy, he needs some help. And probably the two guys that the Magic would most expect to be his help, Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs, combined to go 3 of 28 from the field. That's not good, friends. 2 of 15 from 3. That's not good. Yeah. And the Orlando Magic are gone fishing, as our boy Chuck would like to say. Pretty balanced effort from the non-Donovan Mitchell Cavs, which I think there was a lot of people who were worried about what the Cavs would do offensively without Jared Allen. That was a big loss, I think.
They missed him. They did.
But Max Strus played well. Evan Mobley played well. Garland scored some points. I don't know that he played well. He's supposed to be their number 2 guy. Like, they brought him in to be that dude, and I don't think he's that dude yet.
What did Donovan had like 89 points in 2 games? Something, when you see numbers like that, I have to go back and look at the tape, because how many of those were shots that Donovan should have taken? And how many of those were shots that somebody else probably should have taken? Well, and I know he's number 1, but it felt like in the previous game, he played into a trap. They decided, you know what, go get all you want, and we're not going to let anybody else get it. And I thought they were about to fall into the same trap yesterday. And
that's what it looked like was happening.
And then the others did step up. They did to some extent. But they didn't win it because of their extraordinary effort. They won the game because Orlando can't shoot. If Orlando could shoot, Cleveland would be in a world of hurt today. They would be trying to figure out how they're going to keep Donovan, because he'd want to leave because he's so utterly alone. But that didn't happen because Orlando can't shoot.
The big difference for Donovan Mitchell between Game 7 and Game 6 was Game 7 in Cleveland, he was 15 of 17 from the free throw line. In Game 6 in Orlando, he was 3 of 6 from the free throw line.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that can be the difference between winning and losing basketball games.
Doesn't hurt.
It's funny. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is alone. I just think that those secondary guys are not playing up to the level that they should be. Like, I think Evan Mobley's very good. I don't know when he's going to show it. Like,
he's on the right progression. What is he, like 2-year pro?
Yeah,
he's young and he's growing into it. And Jared Allen is
Darius Garland's the one who was he's already supposed to be there, and he's not yet.
Do you think at what point did Donovan Mitchell ever play nice with another guard? Has he ever had another guard beside him where we went, there's the fit? We're in 2 teams now,
No.
like 5 dudes that have been beside Donovan, and nobody has ever fit. At some point, maybe look in the mirror, bruh. Maybe allow a little bit more oxygen in the room.
Well, again, this is going to go into a conversation we had earlier, or we'll have later, but didn't you say Donovan Mitchell would be one of the guys you'd love to have here in San Antonio?
I think he's a guy that would be of import, but that is one of the issues that I think is going to be key to who does come. Are they willing to subjugate or at least equalize with the next?
All right. So here we're going to hit one more break in this hour. And on the other side, we've talked a little bit about the experience at the Rue Pub. We're going to do more NBA later. Something happened to me there that if I didn't have witnesses, you probably wouldn't believe it. And it involves a little person. We'll talk about that on the other side. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This is the Morning Huddle.
94.1.
Dave Ramsey here from my friends over at Connecticut in San Antonio. Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Kinetico uses less water and runs on kinetic energy. So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it. It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association. The team at Kinetico San Antonio can test your water, install a system, and provide treatment all without stepping a foot inside your home.
I'm Chris Canepa of Kinetico in San Antonio in the Hill Country. I'll let you try a Kinetico quality water softener for 90 days absolutely free. Call us at 656-PURE, that's 656-7873, or visit us on KineticoSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Call 656-PURE, Kinetico.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah!
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code Alamo for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code Alamo. Prize Picks. Fantasy, you're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code Alamo, and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
This is Jason Minix, and you're listening to the home of the Texas Rangers, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the Morning Huddle, 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star. I'm AJ Hoffman. He is Rob Thompson. And we talked a little bit about our group outing to the Rue Pub, where, listen, I thought it was a great place. The service was excellent. The wings were very good.
Did you know that when we won the lottery and San Antonio pulled the lottery card, and there was a video that went viral around the country of the San Antonio celebrating? It was at the Rue Pub.
I didn't know that.
That was it.
What I will say is they could use a bigger restroom.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a 3-hole setup there in the men's room, and this place was packed. I mean, the UFC fights were going on, the Canelo fights were going on, and they've got 2 urinals and a dumper, and that dumper was in use all night. There was someone in there or a line. I went in there once to pee, and there were 2 people waiting in line, and I was like, oh no. But the urinals were both open, so there was a line for that.
That's
one.
unfortunate, man.
It is.
Things got to go real bad for me if I'm in that line, especially if I'm in line.
I'm very against public toilet use. I hate it. Like, it's got to. You're right. It's got to be an emergency situation for me to, even at work. It's got to be an emergency situation for me to want to go there. But they have, again, it's. I think for a bar that size, the restroom is just not. It's not substantial enough. Now, when I went in there, I was going in as Jason Minix was coming out once, and right behind me came in a small person, and there was a little bit of a line. I was right in front of him in line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say there's the 2 urinals, there's a tall urinal and a short
Is
urinal.
that a law? Do you have to do that?
I don't know. But in this case, it felt like we were lucky. Like God was smiling on us because, and if I were the small person, I would have felt the same way. I would have been like, oh, thank goodness. Because I'm
equipped appropriately.
I'm a taller person. He was not a taller person. So it was like, a match made
So
in
he's
heaven.
behind you.
He's behind me in line.
And the low urinal comes open.
The low urinal comes open, and I look at him, and I don't want to say anything, but I just
Why didn't you just why didn't you just go pee? Why didn't you just step up and pee?
That would have been wrong.
Why is that wrong? He doesn't want to be different. He's us. He's a dude.
There was a way. This was by design. Had I used the short one, then the guy at the tall one finished, that guy was still going to have to wait.
No, he'd have just peed up.
I don't think
He'd
so.
have stood back. You think this is his first rodeo? Man, I can't believe you like you.
It would have been rude. You'll find this about me. I'm a generally a
Are you
pleasant...
like Hannibal Lecter, like rudeness? I find it absolutely awful.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I get it.
And I mean, I gave you some grief about leaving your spit cup behind.
I get
like
it. And you were looking out for fellow human. It wasn't you. It was the waitress.
There's some courtesy things in the world, and I felt this was one of those times. So I made the move. Like I looked at him, and he just stared at me. And then I kind of put my hand up, and I was like, "Well, yeah." And he just kept looking at me like, "Are you gonna go?" And I was kind of giving him. Then I started moving my hand. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me kind of going,
dude.
You know, yeah, go for it, man.
Is it just you two in the bathroom?
No, there's 2 people behind him.
Okay,
also.
so what are they doing?
I think they saw what I was doing, and they were like, "Yeah, this makes sense. It made sense. There was only one way this could have worked." And I'm telling you, we probably stood there for 15 or 20 seconds. It felt like 2 minutes. And then the guy at the tall urinal finished, and then I didn't have to say anything out loud. But
so y'all are at this point now peeing beside
now we're
each other.
peeing side by side, and he gives a look up at me like.
Did you give a look down to check it out?
No, I tried my best.
You gave it a look down to check it out. See if
no. But I wanted to see his face because I knew he was angry with me.
You better look a man in the eyes if you're standing beside.
I knew he was angry with me, even though I felt like I tried to be respectful, but he was not pleased by my and when I came out, Minix already knew what
Yeah, we
what
saw
had
we
to have
saw
gone down.
We saw him lead. We saw him come out first. We actually watched him come out, and we both looked at each other like this could be good.
Minix, he knew what the scenario was going to be when we walked in right behind each other, and it played out. I mean, it was like a cartoon. Like this, it only could have gone one way. And I feel like stuff like that only happens to me. But it was an interesting first night out in San Antonio. All right, hour number 2 of the Morning Huddle coming up right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
This is the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable, available where fuel additives are sold.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Are your windows struggling to keep up with the game? It's time to upgrade with Maverick Windows. Stay ahead of the competition with energy-efficient windows. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 to get a free quote.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness Program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Grand slam, bomb, went yard, long ball, dinger. Do you even know what I'm talking about, Nigel?
Croquet.
Nigel, I'm talking about baseball. Courtroom plumbing and air conditioning is a lot like a baseball team.
Should we wear cups, Joe?
When a person has plumbing problems or their air conditioner just isn't cooling right, they can rely on our team to make the big plays. We hit out of the park every time. Call Quarter Moon Plumbing and Air Conditioning, day or night, 651-5899.
Joe, should I start singing now? Take me out. License number M16004.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Experts claim there is nothing tougher than a diamond. But at Diamonds Direct, we beg to differ. Have you ever met a mother? Strong, radiant, timeless. This Mother's Day, give her the gift that meets her match. With diamond jewelry starting at $200. Plus Diamonds Direct's exceptional quality and unbeatable everyday price. You're sure to give her a gift that wows this generation and the next to come. Experience the thrill of jewelry shopping done right at Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Hey everyone, it's Joe Montana. Spreading the word about pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older like me, you're at increased risk. So, what's the game plan? A strong defense. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time in any season, so you shouldn't wait to help protect yourself. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination today and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
94.1 FM.
The NBA playoffs second round are set and ready to go. The Cavs beat the Orlando Magic 106-94 behind Donovan Mitchell's 39 points. Up next, they'll face the number 1 seeded Celtics tomorrow. The number 2 seed Knicks open their second round series tonight with the Indiana Pacers. Madison Square Garden playing host at 6:30. It's game 2 between the T-Wolves and Nuggets, and Denver and Minnesota leads the series 1-0 after stealing game 1 on Saturday. Tip-off in Denver set for 9. The Texas Rangers took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals with a 3-2 win in extra innings yesterday. Tonight, they start a roadie against the Oakland A's with first pitch at 8:40, a game you can catch live on San Antonio Sports Star at 8 o'clock. The Astros dropped 2 of 3 against the Mariners, falling 5-4 in the finale. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the brand spanking new Morning Huddle. Morning or morning?
Depends on what part of town you live in.
Okay.
Further north is morning.
Morning.
You getting into the country type.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have a part of town yet.
No.
I'm staying in New Braunfels. Am I saying that right? New Braunfels?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
I mean, you're Texan.
People used to say New Braunfels, and I'd say, like, that's wrong.
That kind of.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that gets me right in the back of the neck.
Yeah.
I don't like New Braunfels.
Someone asked after our last segment, and by the way, that's an absolutely true story.
I witnessed it.
But someone asked, why aren't all the urinals short urinals? And that is something only a short person would say.
Exactly.
Kevin, I don't know how tall you are, but I'm guessing you're sub 6 foot. Because if you are over 6 foot and you use the short urinal, you understand the splashing.
There's a splash zone.
Yeah, the further distance you have to pee, the more splash there's going to be.
Now, if you're going to go low, you better have some ice.
Yeah.
And they sometimes have had ice in there. That's one of the places.
If I have to use a low one, I aim for a corner.
Yeah, you can't have. You have to get the.
You can't go straight on.
No. You get the backsplash.
You got to go for the corner, because that way, if there is splash, it angles back and misses
Hits
you.
the guy beside you. That's why
it would have hit the little fella using. Yeah, it would have been all in his hair and everything. It would have been a disaster. He would have been really pissed off. He thought that I was being rude before. Imagine then how he would have felt.
Walk out with him climbing all over you.
We were there watching the Canelo fight, and that fight ended up being.
It was a fight.
A lot more of a fight than I think anybody thought it was going to be. You can make an argument Canelo lost the first 3 rounds, and then he put the dude on his ass, and the fight the tune of the fight kind of changed from there. But I think it was a lot more competitive than even Canelo expected it to be.
I got to be real here. I was by about the 3rd round, I was kind of rooting for Munguia. I don't know why.
I was too.
Got to be honest here. I'm kind of ready for Canelo to get his ass kicked.
Well, I think it's kind of an underdog thing, right?
Maybe.
Like, if you're not, this is what I note. If you're not a fan of Team X or Athlete X that's really, really good and almost never loses, you get, okay. Yeah, I don't care who they're going against.
But I was kind of a Canelo dude for a long time.
Okay.
I wasn't all the way in, but I appreciated it. But I also have, for most of his career, I felt like it had been very much manipulated. It never felt like he got somebody at the right time. And normally he got somebody on their way down or when they were almost ready, but never when they were right there. And last night, as the first couple of rounds went going, I thought, wait a minute, they finally found a dude at the right time to take on Canelo. And I was wrong, but I was kind of.
I don't know that you were wrong.
I give him his credit, man. He's got a good chin, and he put him on his ass. And Munguia kept coming. He threw a lot of punches.
As someone who was in attendance for all 3 Canelo Triple G fights,
he lost one of them, right?
He lost 2 of them.
The first one, I know he lost.
The first one he lost. The second one he lost. The third one he won clearly. But I was that kind of bummed me out on Canelo. And to be fair, I was a Triple G fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Triple G, especially in the third fight, it was kind of a shell of what he was. Had they, when they fought the first time 5 or 6 years earlier. But that was the way Canelo worked it. To be fair, there was a time when Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather before he probably was ready to fight Floyd Mayweather. So I give credit to Canelo for doing it the way he did it. But yeah, it's coming. Like, this was one of the first times in a while where I saw Canelo and I was like, okay, somebody's going to get him, and it's going to be somebody you don't expect it to be.
Mm-hmm. That's a big old boy too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, but it was a good fight. It was, and I think even the crowd in the bar kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah, he was, because he was so aggressive. Even after he got put on his ass, he kept coming.
Because when Canelo came out to the ring, the bar was very pro Canelo. After about round 3, they were cheering when Canelo was getting touched. And
I'll tell you a few. Yeah, that was a pro Canelo crowd. This is still his part of the world.
This is his.
But I think there's guys like us that are kind of like, maybe somebody new, maybe somebody different, maybe. If we're going to have a rematch, which you always seem to, make it worth our while. Maybe a guy coming back after his ass kicked. On the other side, San Antonio's own Mario Barrios, El Azteca, little shiner, little mouse under the eye.
Also, probably more of a fight than he was expecting.
Oh, yeah, that was one of those where I think he felt comfortable and kind of took the champion's mentality. You're going to have to take it from me, bro. And he fought that kind of fight, and that's a champ move, but he looked like it too.
It was, both of those fights had very, very lopsided odds.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you were, and sometimes I'll do this too, if I'm thinking, and I'm a pay-per-view connoisseur. I watch every UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I watch most big boxing pay-per-views, but sometimes I'll look at the card and I'll say, okay, there's the top 3 fights are all minus 800 or bigger favorites. Like, these probably aren't going to be competitive fights. And I'll say, I'm going to pass on $80 for this or whatever. You got your money's worth if you bought this pay-per-view.
How often does that happen? 1 in 5, 1 in 10?
That you get your money's worth in a boxing pay-per-view?
At the end of the night, you're like, well, it was 150, but at least I had 3 hours of entertainment.
Yeah, it's about that.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's some fights where I'm certain the fight's going to be good, and it's not. Like the Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fight. I was like, this is the fight I've been waiting for. And it was like, this wasn't even a fight.
Dance.
So
I have a question for you. You're a UFC type. And,
you're not.
Well, I'm not. It's not that I'm not. It's just
you
something
were repulsed by what you saw.
No, actually, what I was going to bring up was something. The worst case scenario for boxing was what went on at the Rupa. Boxing is the sweet science, and we all yada yada. So during the fight, they had the boxing match on 2 screens and UFC in the middle at the Rupa. And if anybody's been there, you know what I'm talking about. Big screens. The worst thing for boxing ever, if you really want to see why there's a problem with boxing, is don't ever put them side by side with live matches, because UFC is just more entertaining. I'm watching both Mario and I'm watching the Canelo fight, but my eye kept getting drawn to the UFC fight. I'm trying to watch the fight, but there's just more action, there's more personality, and there was more activity in the UFC fight, and it kept coming all night long. And as that was cycling through, I'm waiting between fights, and I'm watching Azteca come in and all of his stuff, and then there's the slow rounds. And meanwhile, dudes are doing backflips and punch. I mean, like that's really the worst thing that boxing can do, is to put themselves up against a really interesting night of UFC fights. I mean, it was really compelling.
Yeah, and now boxing is on Cinco de Mayo weekend. They were going to have a fight,
right?
Like they always do. So I don't think that they had much of a choice. And I think most people, I think I'm in the minority of I think most people are either boxing fans or MMA fans. I love both. if I could only watch one, and I've got a UFC pay-per-view or a boxing pay-per-view, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do the UFC.
I don't blame you, man. Because you're guaranteed it. It's going to be activity, cool activity.
Yeah, and there's like usually a big boxing pay-per-view outside of the top 2 fights. It's like, do you really care? It's filler.
I like the guy in black, and we'll see if he can hold on for 8 rounds.
Usually a pay-per-view, a UFC pay-per-view's got 3 or 5 solid fights on it. But you were like cringing at some of the things you were seeing.
The brutality, just every time I watch it, just is astounding. That the human body can take that kind of stuff.
I don't know how many times I heard Rob say, that should be illegal.
Dude,
that should be illegal. It's kicking him in the leg.
Dude in the shin, like over and over and over. Like, man, that outlaw, like, because I would just tap out. Like, if he's going to keep doing this, I'm out.
We got to get rid of this. Got to get rid of this leg kicking.
I mean, the dude was bleeding from kicks.
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
I mean, it happens. You knock shins together, and things are going to happen. But yeah, it was funny watching Rob just kind of cringe at some of what he was seeing.
I loved it, man. I was in.
Okay,
dude that did
all
the
right.
backflip knee to the face. That was
that's something
I've
that you
never
don't see every time. Yeah, I've never seen that either. That doesn't happen very often. So you caught a surprise one there. But we did see, and I told you this was going to happen. I said it's in Brazil. Chances are good the Brazilians are going to win almost all of these fights. Every fight was a Brazilian against a non-Brazilian. And if a fight is close in Brazil and there's a Brazilian against a non-Brazilian, they're going to give that fight to the Brazilian because they don't want to be on the bad side of the crowd.
What 2 countries, given this go around, what 2 countries would be the best to go at each other? Like one of the stands.
Yeah, like the most, I think like the most dominant fighters in the UFC now, or most of them are from Dagestan.
All
yeah,
right.
which is all anything that used to be part of Russia. Which when I used to fight, that was my rule of thumb: is I would not fight anyone from Russia or anywhere close to Russia. I don't believe it. Those guys, that's a different level of
I would break him.
Yeah. Now, see, that's like blonde-haired, blue-eyed Russian. That's scary. What's scarier is like Western, like
I know what you're talking about. The bearded ones.
Yes, mountain Russia, where
the ones that have fur.
Yes. Oh man, like those are terrifying people, man. And whatever you think, I want you to think about the person you know who's had the hardest life. And I guarantee you, they probably didn't have a harder life than someone who grew up in Turkmenistan. Like, I mean, you just don't, if you can come out of like people talk about, oh, I made it out the ghetto. No, you like, there's levels of ghetto. Like if your ghetto had electricity, you're ahead of them. If your ghetto had running water, you're ahead of them.
Well, they're playing in bomb ditches.
Yeah,
they grow up with their own AK.
If your house had a ceiling or a roof, you're probably ahead of them. You had glass windows, it's strong. They are hard humans.
Well, all those Brazilians were pretty tough, man.
They were.
They do that jump around one,
the capoeira, which I said nobody does that, but then the one guy who actually does do it. I told you before, I said this guy actually does do that crazy nonsense, and he did do that crazy nonsense. All right. On the other side, we're gonna talk some Game 7. We're gonna talk some hockey real quick. I believe that Game 7s in hockey are about as good as it gets at this point, because there's no other sport anymore that has the sudden death aspect to it, and especially when it gets to overtime. Like the Game 7 between the Bruins and the Leafs, I was like and I don't care about either of those teams. I'm actually done caring about hockey for the season because my team lost last night. But yeah, I think it's fascinating that they like your season can end in a second like that. And there's no other sport now that football's changed their ways where that can happen. We'll talk about that on the other side. And I'm going to ask later on in this show a very important question. Who do you want, Anthony Edwards or Victor Wembanyama? And I want you to really think about it. And I want the people out there to think about it. And I know what your initial thought is, but I think it's a discussion worth having. We'll talk about that and more as the Morning Huddle goes on here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code Alamo for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code Alamo. Prize Picks fantasy. You're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code Alamo, and up to $100 deposit matches coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know, I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girl.
Hey, hit the road. How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness, and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're gonna have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
Easy Cater. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Need food for a meeting or a company event? Easy Cater has everything you need to make food for work, work. With easy online ordering and reordering. Save your favorite orders, make edits as needed, and click. We even help you with expenses by keeping your receipts all in one place, which means all you need to do is sit back and enjoy the food. From ordering to reporting, Easy Cater has everything to make food for work, work. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime.
I guess that it's showtime thing was like, that wasn't just a
that's real.
That's real. That was like, oh, hey, turn your mic on. Gotcha. All right. We're figuring it out. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. So are the NHL playoffs. Rob, you're not a hockey guy, are you?
I wish that I was, but I'm not. I grew up South Texas. I don't know how to skate. Never ice skated in my life. I appreciate the game. I love the atmosphere. I just don't understand it. It happens too fast.
I'm not a hockey guy either, but I'm a fan of the Golden Knights.
Isn't that cool though?
It is like, so, I mean, I wasn't a fan before I moved to Vegas. I guess I hadn't mentioned I've been in Vegas the last 3 years. And they are, it's the biggest show in town.
Why over everything else?
It just like the Spurs here are they're San Antonio's.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas feels that way about the Knights. Like the idea that there's a town, like imagine in Dallas, the Stars being a bigger draw than the Cowboys. It's crazy to think about that, right? Like that could be possible. That's exactly
Is
what
it
it's like in
because
Vegas.
all Vegas ever had was UNLV, and now you got
this was their first team.
Okay,
this was their the first thing they got, and I think it helps that they've had 7 seasons. They've made the playoffs in 6 of them,
and the facility is spectacular.
Yeah, it's a world-class arena. It is just everyone was saying, well, they'll never have like a local following. It'll always be the road teams are going to come in and take over.
That's what I would have thought.
You road fans can't get tickets to the Knights games because the Knights fans just like they're there every night, and it's fun to watch. It's fun, like the events. You said you've been to a Knights game.
Yeah.
It's an awesome experience. I don't care about hockey now that they're out, but I will say, I was watching the end, and I saw it was going to overtime, so I turned it on. The Bruins Maple Leafs, Game 7, overtime hockey. You can't. That is the best thing in sports now, because once the NFL changed their rules, and I'm glad the NFL changed their rules for the playoffs, because as a long-suffering Buffalo Bills fan, Patrick Mahomes getting the ball first was just completely unfair in that game. But because you already knew it was like the coin toss decided the game.
Yeah.
But now this Game 7 overtime was like at any given second, the game can be over. And there's no other sport where that's the case anymore.
Lightning can just strike.
That's
Bam.
it. Like the NBA is they're gonna, if you go to overtime, that's cool. If there's a Game 7 NBA in overtime, I'd be interested. But they're gonna play the full overtime period.
Wins.
And if it was, how much more interesting would it be?
It would be wonderfully interesting. And what amazes me is I think only hockey can get away with it because the continuous nature of the game, and because of the pro nature, there is dollars involved with breaks. We'll never have that in those other games because let's go to break and then come back on the other side of the break and let's get it paid for.
Yeah. To me, that makes some people say hockey's not great for TV because it's hard to follow.
I will agree with that.
Things like that.
I will agree from the novice point of view because, quite frankly, it happens so fast, and you almost need to be there to get the IMAX version of what icing really looks like instead of trying to watch it on TV and go, "Was he ahead of the puck? Where was the puck?" So as a novice, I just never could get into it. I'll tell you. It was a universally reviled thing when they put that little lightning
laser
bolt.
puck.
I liked it. I was one of the few that went, oh, okay, now I see it.
See, I didn't care about hockey then, so I didn't really have like a take on it. What I saw last night, I was watching, what do they call it? Is it Bally?
That's our
what the
sports outlet,
get played on. They do something interesting to me that I wish I think they need to tweak it a little bit. But when the puck gets passed and it gets to a player, there's like a little flag that shows up above that player with his jersey number and his name.
You know what? I hadn't noticed that.
I think that's smart. But here's the dumb thing. They only do it for the stars. So like most people, if you watch,
do it for the other team. I don't know them.
Right. If you watch, like if you're watching the Stars network, you probably know all the Stars players. And for me, it was kind of the opposite. So it helped me because as someone who doesn't watch the Stars and was kind of like, okay, number 14 is Jamie Benn. But when the Knights players had it, they never put those flags up.
Do you think it's automated? Like they're not, or you think there's somebody pressing a button?
I don't know. Maybe it's, I guess there's got to be someone pressing a button. I don't know how it could be automated.
I don't know. But if they couldn't do the other team.
Because are there like chips in the shoulder pads or something? I don't know. But I thought it was a really good idea. It's just something that like you might want to do it for both teams.
Yeah.
Because
the team I don't know would be very helpful.
Yeah. Like if you're a Spurs fan and you're watching the Spurs play the insert random team, the Hornets, you probably don't know everybody on the Hornets. You know who the Spurs are, especially if you're watching on the Spurs network. Imagine they only show who the Spurs players are. It's like, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I know who Wemby is. You don't need to highlight him.
You can kind of tell.
I got a pretty good idea that number one's going to be highlighted most of the time.
He's easy to point out.
You find him.
But yeah, that Game 7 and the Bruins end up winning. And apparently, I'm not a hockey expert. I by any stretch, But apparently the Maple Leafs are like the biggest chokers in the history of sports.
That's what I've been told.
They're always really good in the regular season. And in this series, they were supposed to get stomped. They made it a good series. And then at the end, they still broke your heart.
So we lose the Knights and we lost Tampa Bay. So it looks like a changing of the guard, right? Is that we got new champion types coming?
Remember, the Avalanche won 2 years ago, and they're still in. That's who the Stars are playing now. And apparently, like that, all I heard. So what I did notice is, and this is, I wouldn't call myself an Astros fan, but I like if I had to be a fan of a baseball team, like I grew up in Houston, it's probably the Astros. The Astros, the Golden Knights have now joined the Astros as teams that everybody in the league hates.
Why the Knights? Because they're new?
Apparently the Knights have been playing like it. Well, first, I think, part of it is they're new and they've already won, and like, their fans are spoiled. Yeah. But also they're playing the salary cap game where they've had hurt players, and they're like, they don't count towards the cap, but they bring them back right in time for the playoffs. And people are like, well, that's cheating.
Respect.
But it's like, first of all, like 5 teams did it.
Yeah.
The Knights just did it and won. So that made people angry. But everybody can do it. You play the cap game.
That's strategery to me. I applaud that.
Figure out how to play the cap game. But I saw last night after they lost that the Knights posted on Instagram, and it was like a thank you to the fan. Thanks to the best fans in hockey. We'll be back next year. And I clicked on the comments.
Mm-hmm.
It was fans of every other fan base that's not the Knights.
Like good riddance.
It's like Knights lose, 31 other teams win. And I said, that's how you know you've made it as an organization. When you losing is a victory to everyone else. When the Astros lost to the Rangers last year, every fan base was it wasn't just Rangers fans celebrating. It was every fan base celebrating that the Astros had lost. And that's kind of what I'm getting with the Knights now. So maybe it's just, I think the Yankees used to be like this. Somehow the Yankees aren't like the worst bad guys now.
I think did you get that
enough
perception in Vegas when you're outside of the bubble? That is, because this is Astros town. It is. We're proud Rangers affiliate and certainly proud of what we do. But San Antonio has always been, at least in my experience, an Astros town. And the hatred.
It exists in Vegas.
Oh, does it? Did it carry in there? Because I know Dodger fan is beyond
Dodger fan. I would say the Dodgers are like the biggest brand in Vegas for baseball. They'll never get over it. They'll never get over it.
Are they to the point? Because we always make fun. A Cowboy fan. I'm gonna put me in the we with it.
Okay.
We make fun of Texans because we firmly believe that Texan fan would rather Cowboys lose than Texans win.
I think in the early stages that was the case,
and I think that's changing now that they got a better team. But the fact of the matter is that the perception has always been you guys
kind of little brother.
You'd much rather see us stumble than you guys stand up straight and do something well.
Because the idea was that the Texans probably weren't winning anything anyway.
Exactly.
And the expectation wasn't that they were going to win. Cowboys always had expectations. So for the Texans, it was like, they're not meeting those expectations.
At least those guys
know this as Aggie fans.
Oh, tell me. Yeah, man. And we are on the precipice. There's this whole generation that has no idea what's about to begin, that literally do not know what it's like to get ready for Texas A&M. Because it's kind of like there's going to be some people that are putting on colors and doing some things kind of like back in 2016 when some of your family started showing up in different color hats, and you're like, what? What other side of the fence you're on? You see people showing up, and you get a new measure of people, and we're talking about a generation of closet Longhorn or closet Aggie fan that is suddenly going to come out, and people, you do not know what it's like. And it's coming.
I'm proud of that.
Yikes. See, that's going to burn my ass for the next year. And I said that in the midst of the jungle that was no rivalry. And it's going to linger. That kind of stuff's going to get me in trouble with my fellow brethren Maroon. You know what I mean?
Does it worry you that Texas is getting good
right
at this time?
Yes, man. Dude, of all the years to bring it back, so yeah, man.
My favorite thing is when the SEC voted on Texas, Oklahoma, there was one no.
Of course.
And I said, you don't have to tell me who it was. You know who it was.
We were like a 3-year-old in the hall, like holding our breath. Like, are you kidding us? You're back. I get back.
Now,
Really?
This is now we are the Aggie affiliate.
Yes, we are.
Are you and I going to be at the press box there for that game? You think?
We can, yeah.
I think we should be.
We will be. That's my plan, because you can't buy a ticket. We're gonna have to get in with our credentialed.
I think we should be
selves.
there. I think we should be there. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna get in this conversation about Anthony Edwards and where he stands in the hierarchy of young players you want to lead your team. If you could start a team from scratch, day one, you got your pick of any player in the NBA, who are you picking? And I know San Antonio fan has a guy in mind. Is Anthony Edwards changing your mind? Let's talk about it next on the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, the NBA playoffs are starting to heat up. In fact, one of the best series there is underway, Minnesota and Denver.
Yeah, we'll have all the reaction from Game 1 and look ahead to Monday night's Game 2. Plus, the big fight over the weekend, Mario Barrios, Canelo, how did they do? What about the Kentucky Derby? How broke is Joe Reinagle? We'll find out Monday at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Feel that heat? That's how it should feel when you're outdoors watching your favorite team coming up to bat, not in your home. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 and get a free quote for new energy-efficient windows.
The Big Blind is celebrating their official grand opening this week, starting with an epic 12K tournament on Wednesday the 8th. 10K tournaments Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with $500 high hands every half hour and a 5K Texas free roll on Sunday. Plus daily blackjack tournaments. Plan now to celebrate the Big Blind grand opening this week. The Big Blind down from the Roo Pub at 281 in Redland Road. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Guys, let's get real about your hair loss. How long have you been wearing a hat? Hiding thinning hair or a rapidly growing bald spot? Just stop it. You're not a 12-year-old little leaguer. You're a grown man. It's time to take action. Let the hat go and get your real hair back permanently with Bosley. You heard that right. Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. And right now, Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone that texts MORE to 200-300. Plus, text right now and get a link to this month's incredible deals. Join the millions of people who come to Bosley and see just how awesome your hair could look. Text MORE to 200-300 for your absolutely free information kit and a free $250 gift card off, plus a special link to incredible deals. Text MORE to 200-300 now. Text MORE to 200-300.
What companies would you want to work for? Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the prestigious Just Capital 2024 seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 in the banking industry and #1 for their ongoing commitment to workers, offering best-in-class benefits, including a minimum wage of $25 an hour by 2025. Visit justcapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Have a take, don't suck. This is Rome. Keep it locked in on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right, we are back on the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm AJ Hoffman. He is Rob Thompson. You guys are the people that keeps this things running. Give us a call, 210-656-3776, or you can text, or you can talk on YouTube. I'm getting used to the ways to communicate with the people. I'm a man of the people. I don't know if you realize it about me, Rob.
You seem to be that.
I'm
Brigade
a man
bar,
of the people.
sound off.
What's it?
The Brigade Bar. That's what we call that.
The Brigade
little
Bar?
scroll. If you're on our YouTube feed,
Okay.
the Morning Brigade, and that's where we'll see
I like that.
those guys, and we provide them gifts and periodic prizes that's only available like early.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
There's only
we got to wake up early.
That's what I'm saying.
If
So
they're
they're
gonna
up
wake
with
early
us.
we should
The least we can
reward them.
do.
I think that's good. I brought this up in our group chat.
And there was some raised eyes when you said it. I'll be honest.
The way I said it, I think the first time was probably not the best way, because I know that when people are fans of a team, and I think everybody on our group chat certainly is a Spurs fan. I am available. Listen, I don't have an NBA team that I would say I'm a fan of. I'm an NBA fan free agent. If the Spurs can get their act together, they can woo me. I'm not opposed to it. Early in my radio career, when I worked in Austin, I used to come down and watch a lot of Spurs games. I enjoyed the Spurs.
Now we come to them.
The Spurs stink now, though. So they got to get it together. But I'm not buying into the worst team in the league. I mean, that'd just be dumb if I said, okay, as a sports free agent, when's your time to? I'm not getting on the bottom floor. I'll get in like when they're fringe playoff team. Maybe the first year they make the playoffs. I don't know. It's not yet. They got to prove something. But I couched the question incorrectly. I said, would you trade Wemby for Anthony Edwards straight up? And I think that's what kind of people rolled their eyes at. They're like, okay, don't say it like that. Because now you're saying we're giving up our guy for him. So I reworded the question in our group chat. If we were starting the league from scratch and you had the first pick, any player you want in the league, this is who you're building your team around.
What's my window?
It's the future.
Okay.
It's from now on.
That's all I needed.
So I think you have to take into account age. Like, obviously, I mean, I think you have to take into account, let's say we're not taking into account salary, because anybody you take is eventually going to get paid stupid money, and that's just the way the NBA works. But I don't want you to say, well, I'd rather have Wemby than Jokic because Jokic is paid X. I don't care about that. Let's say they're all going to be paid $1 billion eventually, so it doesn't matter. But you do have to take into account age, health, all those types of things. Anthony Edwards is now in the conversation of best young player in the league. And he's 22 years old. He only played 1 year of college ball. So while he's been in the league, 3 years longer than Wemby, he's still very young. I don't know how many other guys are in the discussion for like who's the dude you build your whole franchise around. I will say that I think right now you can make a good case for Luka being the best player in the league, and he's still only 25 years old.
Yeah.
People forget that. Like,
he's aging in dog years, though, man.
But like, this is the thing. Like, are you worried that Luka's athleticism is going to go away? That like the dude couldn't even dunk a ball when he got to the league. His athleticism is like the least important part of his game, whereas Anthony Edwards, like his athleticism is the game.
And what happens when that goes?
Of course.
But that's 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Okay, here's the list. I was looking at the list.
All right.
Wemby, Joker, Luka, Shea, Donovan, Jalen Brunson, Jason Tatum, and Giannis. Is that the 8 that we would throw up there as the candidates? Is there anybody else?
Paolo Banchero.
Paolo? No, I'll put Paolo on there. Why not? Yeah, that's worthy.
I think there's some arguments to be, well, you know what? A year ago, I would have made an argument for Ja Morant.
Oh, man, out of sight, out of mind, right? Yeah, I think you got to put him on that list. I think he's certainly the future, part of him, but I don't think anybody's talking about starting a franchise with him.
I think Tyrese Halliburton, maybe?
Yeah, you know what?
Did you say SGA?
Yeah, I did. I had Shea's on there. But if Shea's on there, Halliburton has to be. So now we've rounded out to an even 10.
Okay.
I don't think there's anybody else out there that would even pretend to the throne.
You know who's 23 years old? And he probably not number one, but he'd be probably one of the first 10 guys to go is Tyrese Maxey.
You know what? Over the last month, most improved player, than brand new award, the one that I would never want to get. But Tyrese belongs on there because even Philly fan is discussing whether he's in there. And should we put Embiid on here?
No.
Until February, he was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, but he's going to age out pretty quickly. I don't know when he's going to actually. His body will age out before his birth certificate ages out.
One last question, Chet. The other string bean. He's not even the best guy on his team, though.
But Chet would be one of the in this discussion. Chet would be he'd be a first round pick.
Yeah.
He'd be one of the first 15 guys off the board,
All
right?
right. I think we got a good list, but it's not even close, man. I was trying to find somebody. It's Wemby. There's no question it's Wemby for lots of reasons, and not just because we've been told he's the next. We've seen it now, and he does. The dude plays 4 positions and could play 5. He can rip and run. In this modern league, he can grab an offensive or defensive rebound and turn and go and lead a fast break. And in 4 steps, he's at the free throw line. So he can lead the fast break. He's a willing passer. He is capable of dominating a game defensively. Like, he doesn't even have to score a bucket and get 6 blocks and 2 steals and try to throw over that circus tent lung arm. So I just don't think it's even close. I mean, and I'm an avowed dyed-in-the-wool Spurs fan, but I've watched this guy do things that I didn't want him to do, and he has convinced me over this year that everything I thought that would be good for him, I was wrong. This guy is a 3. He's 7'5" and might be 7'7" by the time he's done, but he is a small forward and deserves all the things that small forwards can do. And for that, there is no question. It's Wemby, and it will be for another decade.
Then let me ask this question. Why did the Spurs win 22 games this year?
That's such a good question.
Because if you're that dude, how are you only winning 22 games?
I think
it's like I always say, the MVP of the league can't come from a team that didn't make the playoffs. And if you are one of the elite players in the NBA, your team should never miss the playoffs. And I've gotten this. I've had this discussion about Justin Herbert, and like where the conversation of elite quarterbacks, like where it starts, where it ends. And this year I had to kind of eat my hat on Justin Herbert because I always said, like, if you're a top quarterback, you make the playoffs. There's like 7 teams from each conference make it. Like, you can't be one of the best dudes and not make it. So in the NBA, more than half the league makes the playoffs. If
losing teams,
if you're the best guy, how do you only win 22 games?
Okay, this is the debate that you're right, and it is a valid one until you pay attention to what Pop did this year. This was designed. They spent half the year with a dude that had never played point guard, starting at point guard, so at that point they're playing 5-on-4. Because they lost some of the things that he had offered before in Jeremy Sohan. And then they didn't get what they'd hoped. So they punted 25 games. And then there's the old axiom that franchises tank, players don't. And Pop, over the last 2 years, has become a master manipulator. The Spurs lost so many games in the last 5 minutes because it was sheer design. There's no playoffs imminent. In fact, I don't want the pressure on this kid to make the playoffs. So we were so far out of the playoffs so early on by design. And once we were out of the playoffs, once Pop looked at the landscape and they could project, no matter what we do, we're not going to make the playoffs. We're going to be in the lottery. Then they unleashed this team. They allowed them to do some things that Pop never allowed. The lineups that should have been played late in games were played, and suddenly they were winning basketball games. And you said it earlier, this ain't no worst team in the league. I watched them play for 2 weeks.
Team in the league.
That was engineered. I mean, not to the extent that they were this bad. Nobody could engineer that because there are a bunch of kids who can't shoot. But for the most part, if it was close, maybe there was a weird substitution and Sohan is suddenly back in at point guard. And you're like, that's not going to work. Or maybe Devin Vassell takes the last shot instead of Wemby. And that's not going to work. I think there was some design to it. I'm not going to attribute that all to manufactured losses because they are young and under-talented.
Well, I mean, think about answer.
I don't
this
want
question.
to hold him against Wemby because it wasn't him that was allowed to carry them the way that most rookies are.
That's fair. But do you think that had they played all out to win, balls to the wall this season?
They're a 33 win team.
Okay, so they're still not a playoff team.
No, they wouldn't have been. They're just not very good. I mean, under-talented.
Which, by the way, I think I started thinking about the worst teams in the league, and we didn't mention Cade Cunningham as a guy that should be on that list.
Yeah, you're right.
You
Cade
forget.
should be
It's
on
funny
there.
you forget about him because that team is just so dreadful. All right, how do we do this? Son of a.
Welcome. We need some technical help as Vic comes running. I'm glad the people on YouTube got to see that. That's 2 shows in a row.
Let's go to Kevin. This is the first call I've taken on this. On
Kevin,
this
I think
station.
we
Hello,
need some
Kevin.
kind of award for Kevin.
Hey, you guys there?
Yeah, we're here, Kevin. What's up, man?
All right. Hey, I just wanted to call in and say welcome back, AJ. It has been a long 3 years without you on the air, man. We missed you. Welcome back. Long-time blitzer.
So
where'd you hear about? You were in Houston?
Well, he's a longtime blitzer. There's a different blitz here, but that's I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll be around for another 12 or so years, and you won't disappear on us again.
We'll see if Rob
But,
can last that long with me.
It's going to be a challenge for him. I hope he's up for it.
I'm eating my Wheaties. I'm good.
What do you got, Kevin?
So, hey, man, you guys are sleeping on Alfred Şengün.
Are we,
That guy's
man?
going to be the next big deal.
He's really good.
Yeah, you are.
But the sleeping's one thing. You ain't gonna put Alfred Şengün as one of the top 10 dudes around the league to start a team around.
I do think he's very good too, but the Rockets have way more talent than the Spurs do right now, and they didn't make the playoffs either.
Although we should have drafted that cat.
Yeah. Listen, he's a hell of a player, and maybe part of me is of the kind of old school mindset of I got to see it more than once. Like let me see it. Let me see you do it again. And that's with Şengün. That's with Wemby even to an extent. That's with Chet Holmgren. Like let me see you do it another year. And part of what my concern is taking Wemby over a guy like Anthony Edwards is, and it's the same concerns I have with Chet Holmgren. It feels like physically guys that are built like that, guys who
so far, you're right.
Guys who are giants typically don't last in the NBA. And as someone who covered the Rockets in the Yao Ming era, and Yao's a different kind of giant because Yao is like a true giant. Like he was 7'6", and he was his legs were
Game of Thrones giant.
Yes,
he was
like
the biggest human being.
He was just he wasn't like one of these big skinny dudes.
We say was like he's dead, but
right,
but legit, was the biggest human being I've ever been in the same proximity with.
But humans aren't meant to be that size for long, especially in play the kind of games that they're playing. It just you're not built to last like that. I worry that, and knock on wood, Wemby was healthy this season, generally healthy. Chet Holmgren already missed a season. But guys that are built like that, I worry about their health long term.
And the thing about it is, you're right. Right now, it is 100% failure rate.
Yeah.
There's not been one that had a long and illustrious career. We've had a feel like Boban, the guy plays 8 minutes a game. But for the most part, anybody over about 7'4" has about a 2-3 year physical lifespan.
I remember very well. I worked in Austin the year that KD played at Texas, and I remember that draft and everyone saying that you got to take Greg Oden over Kevin Durant, and I said, you guys are out of your freaking mind. And it's not like I thought Kevin Durant was clearly the guy to draft in that draft. I didn't know he was going to be like a top 15 NBA player of all time.
40. He already looked 40 by the time he came out.
I was like, look at this guy. Do you really think he's got a long career ahead of him in the NBA? And sure, like it's hindsight's 20/20, but to me it was painfully obvious that he was not built to last in the NBA.
And that's been the biggest fear with Wemby. And from what I understand and what we've seen from when he arrived and even the time when he was still in Paris, there has been this ongoing concern about his feet. That, that's the Achilles heel, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that was Yao's.
Yeah, so, and many other, Bill Walton and many others have dealt with their feet. So they have done all these, really crazy ideas about keeping him healthy. And when you watch him warm up, he'll come out on the court with no shoes on. Seriously. And they do all these yoga moves and all this other kind of stuff because, as you were saying, I mean, I think of all the concerns, it's that. And if there's one reason you don't draft a guy like that, especially knowing you're building your franchise around, is you get the sense that if it happens once, it's at that point, it is a decline. And you'll never be back.
And I'd say that with Luka, we've already kind of seen some of that.
A little scary.
And to me, that's why I think Anthony Edwards would be my pick. If I had the first take of these guys, I think Anthony Edwards is that dude. And because he is, he's an elite defender too. Is he Wembanyama? No, but he's a different kind of player, certainly. But he's a great on-ball defender. He feels like the kind of guy who can take over a game by himself.
And one of the things I'll take it even beyond that, he's fun to watch.
No doubt.
He plays with a joy. And there's not a lot of guys that do that. No, but he plays with a joy. There's something about watching Anthony Edwards when he is rolling, that there's a smile on his face, there's a bounce, and it's just a pleasure to watch. Wemby is an old soul. I mean, he's not smiling when he's playing. And I don't have a problem with it, but there's something about watching Anthony, the Ant-Man, bounce around and hit that beautiful form that is Jordan. You take a picture and put them side by side. There's something about watching this cat that you go, I'd buy a ticket every time he walked down the court.
The last time I heard people talk about this guy's game, reminds me so much of Jordan, it was Kobe Bryant. And that guy ended up being pretty good. And so if you can buy stock now on Anthony Edwards, and you're not going to be able to buy stock on him a year from now. I think it's going to be too late. So get it now, because I think this guy is going to be in a playoffs where in round 2, there's no LeBron, no KD, no Steph Curry. This is a changing of the guard.
No Giannis,
no Embiid. It is a changing of the guard of who the top player. No Kawhi. Sorry to bring him up. But you're right. He ain't there. No James Harden. He ain't there.
I'll say this, Spurs fan, get used to the fact that Anthony is a very much likable cat. He's one of those guys that demands the spotlight and really chases it. When we're coming down to who's the face of the league, I don't care how good Wemby gets. All Anthony's got to do is continue being Anthony and continue to win.
I agree with that, because this is probably a great thing too, because the last time the Spurs had one of the best players in the league, over a long stretch of time, because I think when Kawhi was here, he was one of the best players in the league. But Tim Duncan, there was no question he was in the conversation every year as best player in the league for a 10-year run.
Mm-hmm.
He was never the biggest star in the league because he wasn't a star. I don't know if Wemby's a star in that way.
They're going to make him one. I mean, he's so important to the league.
They wanted to make Tim Duncan one.
Yeah.
But Anthony Edwards, there's no push. You don't have to work to make him a star.
He wants it.
This dude's a star. Mm-hmm. He's built to be a star, and he's going to be a star. Now, does it? At the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know that Jokic is a star.
He doesn't want to be.
He doesn't want. It's not his
horses and just lift.
Probably one of my favorite things was when they were right after they won, and they're like, "Are you excited for the parade?" He said, "Parade."
I thought I was going home.
Well, I'm going home. What do you mean parade? He was just like, "What? I'm done. This is my job. I'm here to work and get the hell out of here." He doesn't. And that's kind of what worries me about Jokic is he doesn't live and breathe ball.
No, when he's tired of it, he'll be done.
And I think I get the same sense with Luka, that he doesn't it's not his favorite thing in the world. It's
I don't know about him. I know that Luka has other aspirations. I mean, the Joker has other aspirations. That basketball is a means to an end.
It's his job.
And Wemby, I think, is kind of a mix between Tim and David, where there is this thirst for other stuff I can see in Wemby.
What is it with San Antonio drafting these boring bigs that
you wonder if it's
personality big men.
There is this marriage of boredom that we've seen in the past that's just perfect. And the sad thing is, AJ, that San Antonio is not the city that we were when Tim was here. some of the things that Tim was allowed to get away with, like being behind the scenes and not really being the leader. Manu was always able to kind of step in and fill that void, and Parker too. Wemby can't do and won't be allowed to be Tim. He's too important to the world idea of what the NBA is going. There is a place for Wemby, and it's front and center as they try to sell tickets in Paris coming up, and as the NBA looks to grow like the NFL has. They can't have Tim. He can't go away in the offseason. He's going to have to be something.
20 years ago, San Antonio was a small market.
Yeah,
it's not a small market anymore. It's growing to the and it's becoming an international city. It's not a cow town for sure. So he's got to play that role,
and I think he will be fine because he has been kind of manufactured to be this. Everybody knew what he was, when he was 13. They knew that this was coming. So he's been prepared for it. But he's not the happy face like Anthony Edwards will be. I mean, you could just see there's a joy there that Victor's a corporate thing.
So you said no doubt Wemby number 1.
No question.
Anthony Edwards number 2?
Yeah, no question. And I think they're so far ahead. Now, third would be the Joker, but I think there's a distance, especially if we're talking long term.
I think I'd rather have Luka long term than Jokic.
Maybe.
All right, good conversation. Plenty more where that came from. We're going to throw some Cowboys on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
My name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code Alamo for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code Alamo. Prize Picks. Fantasy, you're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code Alamo, and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Hey everyone, it's Joe Montana. Spreading the word about pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older like me, you're at increased risk. So, what's the game plan? A strong defense. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time in any season, so you shouldn't wait to help protect yourself. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination today and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
San Antonio Sports Star.
The NBA playoffs second round are set and ready to go. The Cavs beat the Orlando Magic 106-94 behind Donovan Mitchell's 39 points. Up next, they'll face the number 1 seeded Celtics tomorrow. The number 2 seed Knicks open their second round series tonight with the Indiana Pacers. Madison Square Garden playing host at 6:30. It's game 2 between the T-Wolves and Nuggets, and Denver and Minnesota leads the series 1-0 after stealing game 1 on Saturday. Tip-off in Denver set for 9. The Texas Rangers took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals with a 3-2 win in extra innings yesterday. Tonight, they start a roadie against the Oakland A's with first pitch at 8:40, a game you can catch live on San Antonio Sports Star at 8 o'clock. The Astros dropped 2 of 3 against the Mariners, falling 5-4 in the finale. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yes, it is. This is the Morning Huddle. I'm AJ Hoffman. He is Rob Thompson. Thank you for tuning in to our new little program.
We
here.
reach more sports fans than anybody else in South Texas.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty good.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Rob.
man.
Can't believe you guys wanted me on the team.
A blowtorch.
Look at that. Look at that.
Mathis and Austin and Uvalde.
Everywhere.
That's what we do.
Love it. Good morning, fellas. How's our new main man, AJ? I'm ready for this change. Me too.
Yeah, man. Change is the key to youth.
I don't know how I'm doing. You'll have to ask the people who have been listening. Goldfinger says I'm more level-headed. That's good. I asked if I'm related to Brock Hoffman.
Wait
I'm not.
a minute. Who said you're more level-headed?
Goldfinger 1, 2, 3.
Do you like that? Is that you take that as a compliment?
No, I don't. I didn't take it one way or the other.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I did. He said compared to RJ. I don't know. Is RJ a level-headed fella, or is he?
RJ, and this is a good time to bring up. RJ is the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, and no one is more intertwined with the Dallas Cowboy world than RJ Ochoa, because that all he can see is silver and aquamarine. Because that is his life and livelihood. RJ he sees things with the Cowboys that were true. He saw the ebb and the tide of the Cowboys that have come, but he's so in it that he's miserable.
I can see that.
He just doesn't see any sunshine ever. It is just one folly after another with him and Jerry and all that. So yeah, he's depressed, and I think he's representative of most Cowboy fans, but because that's what he is, he's just out there, man. There's never good news. It's just one mistake after another. And for the most part, he's right. I mean, he's not wrong, but most of us Cowboy types are a little scarred up. We've seen this
I'm
before.
guessing when RJ started, like when he decided, you know what, I'm going to make my life about the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys weren't an absolute train wreck.
They've always been a
buy
train
into
wreck.
us.
No, listen, I've been around.
Yeah.
I saw.
How do you quantify train wreck? I mean,
they've won what? How many Super Bowls have they
but
won
that's
since I've
30
been
years.
alive?
Yeah.
Like,
Train
okay.
wreck.
Okay.
Train wreck.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's like if you started a Spurs blog 10 years ago,
Oh, it was
you're
easy
probably
back
like,
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is great.
Yeah.
I'm a happy guy. My job's easy. Now it's like, what the crap?
Well, I think there's a realization that a lot of the next generation Cowboy fan, the ones that didn't get to celebrate the Super Bowls. You know, I'm of the age where I got to celebrate them. And some of us, it's like yesterday. There's still people roll out a 96, Super Bowl champion T-shirt that looks ironed and creased and ready to
We
go
have
to game.
established a championship program.
This
It's just not the
generation, I
World
think,
championship yet.
this year went, this guy's an idiot. I think finally people like of RJ's generation finally looked around and go, all he cares about is money. That's all it is. Everything else has been the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to what's going on behind the curtain, and everybody will be fine. And I think RJ finally realized, like, oh my God.
The Cowboys were 12-5 this year. That's a pretty good season.
I think that if you judge it against that prism, absolutely.
Well, wins and losses are a good way to judge success, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the last loss and
Okay.
how that last loss continues.
Okay, and now to be fair, I mean, one of the things when I was at Pluckers last night, I like Pluckers.
They do a good wing, don't they?
They don't have that in Vegas. I missed that. So they do a good wing, good sauce, and a meaty wing.
Yeah,
you've got to have meaty wings. But I was watching the hockey game there, and next to it was the top 10 games of the 23-24 football season. And number 2 on the list was the Lions-Cowboys game. And as I was kind of watching that off to the side, it was during the second intermission of the hockey game. It's so embarrassing that the Cowboys even won that playoff game.
Yeah. Like, that's the highlight of our year, man.
Dan Campbell losing that game is so, especially losing the way they did, is so embarrassing. The Cowboys shouldn't have even won that. Well, and maybe they should have won. We should have had more we should have had overtime to find out if they should have won. But obviously, playoff success is the most important thing.
You know what? Is it?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Do you?
Okay, I'm just trying to, find my place in the world.
Especially if your goal is to win championships. But
you make the point that 12-5, and that is Jerry's sweet spot. If Jerry can go 12-5 every year, that's all that matters to him. I think he talks a good game. He says all this stuff.
You don't think he cares about winning Super Bowls?
I think he cares about how many zeros are in front of the decimal.
I think Jerry, more than any other owner, in his mind, he really wants to win, but he doesn't want to do all the things that winning is necessary for winning, which sometimes Jerry Jones has had puppet head coaches for so long. I mean, Mike McCarthy would have been easy to get rid of a year ago. Now they went 12-5, and it's a little more difficult to and they won a playoff game, so it's a little more difficult to get rid of him.
He just, that's okay. Okay, so now we're in it. So what is Jerry doing? So he's got a coach right now that is playing out the string. He got a 1-year deal left, playing out the string. He's got a quarterback, 1 year left, playing out. Make a damn decision, man.
Think about this. If at the end of this year, it looks like, let's say the Cowboys move on from Mike McCarthy at the end of this year. The 2 hottest names, I'm assuming, in coaching circles in this next offseason will be Bill Belichick, and Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
And both of those are going to be coaches that are going to want some autonomy. They are not going to want Jerry telling them how to do their job. And that tells me that Jerry's not going to look at either of those guys seriously.
No.
And if you're not willing to, and I think Atlanta, kind of blowing off the Bill Belichick and saying, no, we're going to go. And
what's Bill saying?
The ownership wants to be in charge of football things, and real football men don't want to work with those guys. I think Seattle looking at Mike Vrabel and then going, well, let's go this other way. I think that says a lot because they didn't want the reason they wanted to get rid of Pete Carroll was they wanted to have football say. Ownership did. When ownership has too much football say, you ain't going to win. You're just not.
It's so difficult. And one of the things that has endeared Mike McCarthy to Jerry so much, and this is one of the things that Skip Bayless pointed out a couple years ago, that was when McCarthy first got here, they kind of carved out Friday afternoons that Jerry and Mike would go sit together in a room and crack a couple of beers and talk game plan. And Mike would teach Jerry some football, really kind of get into the intricacies of what the game was about. And that Mike and Jerry.
Are you telling me Bill Parcells didn't take time to do that?
You think that Bill's going to, Jerry, I'm going to explain to you the jet sweep. I don't think, but I think McCarthy took the time to go do that, to kind of carve himself this niche of, all right, I'm in the fam now, and when we're going to have him on every week, AA Best Bail Bonds brings you Mike every week, and we'll talk to him every Friday morning, and you're going to grow to like him. But there is you get the sense that he is in control as he possibly can be of the program, but it's never going to be enough to be successful, and he knows it too.
And listen, it's tough doing a job where the harnesses are going to hold you back.
Mm-hmm.
The big question now is Dak Prescott over the weekend was, when are they going to re-sign Dak? And you've kind of got a lame duck quarterback, which in today's day and age, you don't see it very often. Guys like Dak get to this point in their contract.
Name one other than the guys that end up getting franchised. I mean, normally if you're buying now, you're going to get franchised.
Kirk Cousins?
He got franchised until they finally signed him, but they got franchised first.
Yeah. Well, did he get franchised in Minnesota?
He got the big one there.
Yeah. But, I mean, the fact that he was able to leave and go to Atlanta.
Before we go any further, tell me your opinion of Dak.
I think Dak is a stat collector. I think, and he's good at that. I don't think Dak's got that dog in him. And I think that it takes a certain kind of dude to be like a top tier guy. And like, I'm looking for guys who, sometimes you talk about quarterbacks and you say, he's got to learn to step out of bounds.
Right.
And you want that in your quarterback. You want him to have that in his head, when to step out of bounds, but you also need him to understand that there's some moments in games where you're not allowed to step out of bounds. And if your head gets blown up for it, your head gets blown up, because stepping out of bounds loses you the game anyway. And you got to be willing to take that nasty shot to give yourself a chance. And I don't know if that's Dak. And to me, that limits your ceiling. And I mean, how many big games has Dak really won?
Not enough.
And when they've won those games, how many times have you gone, it was because of Dak? I think it's wild to consider Dak was second in the MVP voting last year. Dak got more MVP votes than Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. But if I told you you're a Cowboys fan, you can have Dak Prescott or Josh Allen, or you can have Dak Prescott or Patrick Mahomes, I don't think you're thinking very long about which guy you're taking. So I don't know where Dak falls into the hierarchy. I mean, there's no doubt, like, if you're making a top 10 list, Dak's one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league. But I think if you're making a top 5 list, it's hard to put him on it.
No.
And if you don't have one of those dudes, everything else has to be
so
perfect.
Are you of the
for you
belief
to win.
that you got to have the dude, man? You know what I mean? And no matter how good Dak is, he'll never be the dude.
So here's a question. You typically, the easy answer is yes, you have to have the dude. If everything else is perfect, you can have like someone who's pretty good. I think the 49ers are a great example. Brock Purdy's not the dude.
Right.
Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't the dude, but there's a reason they were able to get at least to the doorstep of it.
But
it's because everything else was so good. They're so well coached. They're so well run as an organization. The defense is there. All the ancillary players are good. The Cowboys don't have that. The Cowboys right now are like the Bills in that their entire identity is our quarterback's going to keep us in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't worked out for the Bills. And Josh Allen's way better than Dak Prescott, and it's not working out for them. So if you've got a lesser quarterback, I don't know how that works out. I think about the Cowboys defense the last couple of years and how one of the things we talk about a lot in sports betting and when we're breaking down games from a analytics standpoint, like a deep dive, is turnovers are really luck based. Like turnovers happen and then they don't happen. You can't count on them, is what I'm saying. Like if a team leads the league in turnovers one year, chances are good the next year they might be bottom 10. Like it's not something that's really repeatable. The Cowboys have had 2 good years of really good turnover luck. And they've got ball hawking guys. I get that. There's certain guys who are drawn to the football, but typically that's not something that's
a
you can
team
count
can
on.
scheme away from turnovers if they choose to. Yeah, I'm not going to throw at the cornerback. I'll go someplace else.
So let's say the Cowboys didn't have this great turnover luck they had the last 2 years. Where are they now? And turnover luck works on both sides, by the way. Dak Prescott, what did he throw? 4 or 5
He
picks
had
last
his
year?
interceptions, and that's why he got the MVP votes.
9 interceptions last year.
Yeah, and he halved it from the year before.
Is he going to be under 10 this year? I'd bet the over.
I would too.
All right. So we'll talk more about this on the other side. We've got some sound from ESPN talking about
Jeremy Fowler,
where the Cowboys are at in their negotiations with Dak. We'll do that on the other side. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on the Blitz, the NBA playoffs are starting to heat up. In fact, one of the best series there is underway, Minnesota and Denver.
Yeah, we'll have all the reaction from Game 1 and look ahead to Monday night's Game 2. Plus, the big fight over the weekend, Mario Barrios, Canelo, how did they do? What about the Kentucky Derby? How broke is Joe Reinagle? We'll find out Monday at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Grand slam, bomb, went yard, long ball, dinger. Do you even know what I'm talking about, Nigel?
Croquet.
Nigel, I'm talking about baseball. Courtroom plumbing and air conditioning is a lot like a baseball team.
Should we wear cups, Joe?
When a person has plumbing problems or their air conditioner just isn't cooling right, they can rely on our team to make the big plays. We hit it out of the park every time. Call Quarter Moon Plumbing and Air Conditioning, day or night, 651-5899.
Joe, should I start singing now? Take me out.
Stop.
M16004.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member and needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Dave Ramsey here from my friends over at Connecticut in San Antonio. Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy. So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it. It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association. The team at Connecticut San Antonio can test your water, install a system, and provide treatment all without stepping a foot inside your home.
I'm Chris Canepa of Connecticut and San Antonio in the Hill Country. I'll let you try a Connecticut quality water softener for 90 days absolutely free. Call us at 656-PURE, that's 656-7873, or visit us on ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
It's almost real music. We're almost there.
It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star, the brand spanking new
paint job.
Morning Huddle. Talking some Cowboys football. I'm not able to. I'll go out on a limb and say I'm not as good on the Cowboys as RJ. I probably won't know as much
It's
stuff.
not about good. I mean, he's Rain Man-esque. I mean, literally, there's nothing about the boys that he doesn't know. And I don't care to know all that stuff.
Someone asked if I like the Navy ship behind me above the window. I think I should take that thing down.
Ooh. You might want to save that for the first Saturday in December.
Okay.
When this will be the first real time,
I think,
that when we go to Army Navy, that both sides will be represented. Because as an Air Force guy, all I did was go there and collect the Commander's Cup, because that's what we do. We just go and take the trophy home for ourselves. But but going to watch Army Navy, we will have a true rivalry when you get there.
I feel like when that happens, we should say maybe Minix and I will have a little wager.
Oh yeah,
that the winner. The losing team can't have any representation in the studio that year.
Well, that might be un-American. Maybe you have to kiss the goat or kiss the donkey.
It's not un-American to say get all the Navy stuff out and replace it with Army stuff.
What about
do you find yourself cheering one way or the other when you're there?
No,
you don't take a side.
It's America.
Okay,
and I know most of the Air Force has already won the Commander's Cup. They've already beaten those two teams. So
not lately.
No, not lately. But it's difficult, I would say, as an Air Force guy to be there. Because the pageantry, you're just kind of like left over to the side.
Yeah.
And I got nothing. And those guys are talking stories for,
I remember, so it's always been on my bucket list to go to an Army Navy game. I guess I get to do it this year. That's kind of exciting, as long as I don't get fired between now and then.
Well, no.
But for a long time, it wasn't fun because, just Navy always won.
decade.
That was rough.
Yeah, it was
but
rough.
Now it feels like things are evening out a little bit.
You know, Navy lost Coach Ken Fuamatu.
They lost him or they fired him?
That.
Yeah, I think they fired
him. I think they regret it now.
Anyway. Maybe so. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN was talking about Dakota's contract situation, and I mean, we were talking in the last segment about how often do quarterbacks get this deep into their contract and they're not figured out. Let's take a listen.
Got to start with Dak in Dallas as always, but Prescott. So the situation here is, from what I'm told, the people in Dallas, they want him there long term. They're saying all the right things. The notion that they don't want Dak beyond 2024, I'm told, is false. But their negotiations so far with Dak have been described to me as passive or even non-existent. There really hasn't been anything going on. So their actions are saying that maybe if they have to sit on his $61 million cap hit this year and then figure it out later, then they'll do that. They've been fiscally responsible, not really spending any money. So they know they have to address this at some point in the offseason.
They're in a weird spot because Dak is good enough to keep them competitive, but probably not good enough to win a Super Bowl. And I say that, I mean, how many quarterbacks are good enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't think there's many, to be honest. And that's kind of that's what football is now. You either have one of those dudes or you don't. I think there's probably 6 or 7 guys in the league that if you said, you know, name the next 7 Super Bowl winners, they're going to come from one of these 6 or 7 quarterbacks. I think I could probably do a pretty good job with that. I think of Dak in this way. Dak is a scratched lottery ticket. And it's not, you know, it's one of those ones you go to the store. How much are lottery tickets now? Are they like, they're not $1 anymore, right?
I think you can find some for $1. I don't buy the scratch.
Okay.
I only buy when it's like $1 billion.
The mega ball or whatever.
No, I think I've seen the guys that are always taking too much time in the line in front of me.
They're running about 10, they're like
15,
picking one.
This one, 2 of those.
Yeah, stop it.
3 of those.
Okay, let's say it's like a $5 scratch off ticket. Dak, you've scratched all the numbers, you counted it out, you won $10. That's good, right? I mean, it's better than losing. It's better.
Well, is it? I probably spent $15 to find that one winner.
You spent a $5. Where'd you get Dak in the
Fourth
draft?
round.
Okay. It's a $5 ticket. You won $10. You're excited. I doubled my money. You know, you're not going to retire on it, but it's not a loser. All right. You could have scratched that ticket and it could have been, I don't know, Zach Wilson. I mean, you spent $5 on that ticket and you knew pretty quickly that ticket ain't winning you anything. You can't, you don't get your money back. You don't pass go. You don't collect anything except heartache. Right. I would say this. I mean, at this point, you'd certainly rather have CJ Stroud than Dak Prescott. I think that's obvious at this point, honestly.
Well, for the future, I think CJ's going to come back to earth this year.
But I think so too. I think so
this
too.
year, I think Dak's going to outperform him. But
I'm saying the long-term,
you're right.
long-term performance. I would rather have CJ Stroud's future than Dak's. I think now, think of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, let's say you compare him to expectation coming into the league. There's no way to spin that Trevor Lawrence hasn't been a disappointment, considering what the expectations were.
No, I will.
Trevor Lawrence
lived
was
up to expectations, but he has not been a failure.
No, he hasn't been a failure, but he was supposed to be the second coming. This was he was like Wembanyama.
At least that year.
It was like Elway was can't miss. Andrew Luck was can't miss.
Was he?
Trevor Lawrence was can't miss. That's what Trevor Lawrence was considered as a prospect.
Okay, I'll give you. He was. He didn't. Okay, he was close.
He hasn't been that.
No, not even. He has not. But
which, by the way, neither was Andrew Luck.
And I'm not blaming him for not being what we expected him because there's other things in play.
But there's still enough. There's still enough left on the Trevor Lawrence bone that if you said, "Do you want Trevor Lawrence or Dak going forward?" I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence. because he's not a fully scratched lottery ticket. There still might be a winner under there. Whereas, again, we've scratched the whole ticket with Dak. We know what we've got. It's not terrible.
But that's the worst thing to get, man. To be just this. This is the worst place to be because Jerry's stuck in this netherworld of, could be worse. Could be raining. But here we sit, and because he has watched this, and trust me, at every opportunity, Jerry has screwed up the Dak Prescott quarterback as far as his contracts. From the very get-go, they never quite knew how to handle Dak. The first contract, the holdout, the franchise, and then the broken leg, and all this stuff.
Isn't this just kind of a Cowboys thing? Because didn't they have the same issue with Tony Romo?
Well, again, it's the same forces at play. That 12-5, if you're happy with that, then this is your guy.
How similar is Tony Romo to Dak Prescott?
Same numbers, brother. Second in MVP voting, out in the second round of the playoffs. Here's the problem. Jerry is waiting for somebody to just kind of fix the glitch, because I don't think he wants Dak, nor does he want to get rid of him. The contract's expiring. The not want to get rid of him is going to cost him $61 million. Well, it's not going to cost him a dime, but that money that would have been spent elsewhere ain't going to get spent. Dak's going to fall ass backwards into a $61 million little tiny contract extension because Jerry's hoping the glitch fixes itself. And I don't know what that glitch fix is going to be. Like maybe this last effort with all these dudes together gets them to maybe the conference championship game, and that's enough to keep the glitch going one more year. But I think Jerry, if it came to push comes to shove, would like to see Dak leave. He just doesn't want to be the reason he leaves.
I believe this. If you're a Cowboys fan and you're the most important thing to you, you know what? We got this will be the tease. I'm going to tell you what you need to hope for if you're a Cowboys fan on the other side. Because and I'm not saying if you're
a merciful death.
If you're a Dak fan, it's different. If you're a Cowboys fan, I'm going to tell you what you need to hope for next. It's 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind. They're at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roof. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. What companies would you want to work for? Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the prestigious Just Capital 2024 seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 in the banking industry and #1 for their ongoing commitment to workers, offering best-in-class benefits, including a minimum wage of $25 an hour by 2025. Visit justcapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine.
Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein tools in-store and online today, because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
This is Jason Minix. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thank you, Jason Minix. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This is the Morning Huddle. AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Did you see where Minix went out on Saturday night after we all went home?
Yeah,
the
he was
Menai
texting me.
Kept going.
He was at like some kind of a concert.
Yeah, he went to a dance bar.
Huh.
That guy runs on a different level than us.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets to sleep. That really helps.
You can follow us on the X at Rob Thompson ESPN for Rob. At AJ is the real is my X/Twitter handle.
I can attest he is the real.
Yeah, I got that name from the Iron Sheik, R.I.P. the Iron Sheik. But he
I knew that cat. I met that dude.
I've met him a couple times, and
he
was very difficult.
I don't want to.
I loved having him on the radio. He was very difficult to have on the radio. He would say words that you're not allowed to say.
You needed to change the mic condom when he left.
But
a lot of spit going on there.
He told me, he said, AJ, you are the real, Bubba.
You are the real.
So I just rolled with it. I teased this, and here's what I think you need to hope for if you're a Cowboys fan. And Rob, you're an admitted Cowboys fan.
I am sadly been sentenced to it.
You need to hope that the 49ers stay where they're at. You need to hope that the Eagles get back to that top level, which I know is, if you're a real Cowboys fan, it's probably hard to admit that. You need to hope that there's an emergence of whether it be the Lions again or the Packers take the next step. You need to hope that the Cowboys either don't make the playoffs or make it and go home early and embarrassingly, because if the Cowboys make any kind of playoff run this year, they're going to sign Dak long-term if they don't do it this offseason. I think the Cowboys now, the fact that they haven't had any kind of traction on this, and you tell me if you disagree, it makes me think that they're already thinking maybe if we have to, we can franchise them. And we'll give it another year to figure out. If this year's a disaster, I don't think they do that. I think they just move on. If this year gets them to the playoffs with an early embarrassing exit, I think they might franchise him, but they will draft a quarterback. They will look for the future as well. If they win a playoff game or two, they're going to pay him. And we've seen quarterbacks who have accomplished less than Dak has get paid more. I mean, Kyler Murray, don't look any further than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's paid, I think he's the sixth, he'll be the fifth or sixth highest paid quarterback in the league this year. Deshaun Watson is going to be a seventh or eighth highest paid quarterback in the league this year. And they don't have the resume that Dak Prescott does, but that's just the going rate. If you've got even a serviceable quarterback, you're getting in that $45-50 million range.
Well, here's the problem he's running into. Dak, I think, is an expendable quantity at the end of the day. And I do think when Jerry looks at the future, Dak probably isn't the quarterback of the Cowboys in 3 years, whatever the case might be. But I do think he looks at their roster in 3 years and expects to see CeeDee Lamb. And he does expect to see Micah Parsons. And to keep those two dudes here in the next 3 years, he's going to have to make a decision regarding Dak. I mean, he's going to have to do something. Either extend him so you can get CD now, or let him go so you can pay it. But one or the other has to happen. Jerry has pushed this thing to the ledge where now the deadline will force him to make a deal.
The problem is
he's going to have to sign him. He's going to end up signing Dak in training camp. He's going to get a 2-year deal. It's going to give a little bit of room. CD will get paid.
What you're saying right now is not how the NFL works today. Because
yes, you're right.
The way the NFL works today is you give Patrick Mahomes all the money in the world and everybody else can come and go and you'll find someone else to fill their space. And if you can fit somebody under the cap, you will. And if you can't, you'll find someone else. Because all that matters is, do you have that dude at quarterback? So Micah Parsons is great. Micah Parsons isn't going to be the reason you win a Super Bowl. Like he's just not.
He'll be the reason we sell a lot of 11 jerseys. A lot of jerseys are going to get sold.
But if you have a world-class quarterback and you have Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, man, you can really make something happen. If you have CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons and an okay quarterback, you're going to be the Dallas Cowboys. We see that now. That's it. Like, do you think Micah Parsons is going to – what's Micah Parsons' ceiling? Is Micah Parsons going to be better? Is he going to have a better career than J.J. Watt had?
I think the expectation is he'll have the same career.
Okay.
J.J. Watt had.
You know how many Super Bowls J.J. Watt had?
Right, that's the
Not
problem.
a single damn one.
Well, he's taking a call, but that's another.
Well, that's a different
just
conversation.
give me a call. Here's the thing with Jerry Jerry is a great guy to work for because he pays you on merit. You do good, he's going to pay you. I mean, he will. But that's not how you talk about how franchises work. You got to pay guys before they're great. You got to pay them now and hope they get great, because once you start paying on merit, you're behind the 8 ball. He's behind the curve, and now he's paying on merit with Dak. And Dak at 12-5 and second in the MVP, because he's next in line, that's $60 million. That's just what it is. I mean, he's next in line and it's $60 million. And there's no way Jerry can get around that. And I think he's been trying to find a way for the last 3 years to get around that. And he keeps saying, if I pay him the $60 million, I'm not going to be able to pay everybody else, which is every other owner's refrain. But Jerry has pushed this thing to where it is MacGyver and the fuse is ticking.
When's the last time Jerry signed someone and you're like, they got a bargain on that?
It is so few and far between. None. He
you're
pays
right,
on merit.
And the Zeke Elliott, the big contract for Zeke is like the greatest example of it, where it's like, I mean, I'm not a believer, and I'll say this a lot. I'm not a believer in paying running backs on second contracts. Like, you have to be the most special of the special to warrant a second. I'm a believer after 4 years of a running back, it's time to draft a new one and hope you can keep it. Like, everyone, this is the biggest thing I've heard about the Cowboys. And like, just when I knew I was taking this job in San Antonio, I knew you guys were the Cowboys station, and I kind of wanted to get more up on the Cowboys than I had been. I follow the NFL religiously. In Vegas, we talked. I mean, I followed the Cowboys as much as I followed the Raiders. There wasn't one team that I like zoned in on.
You can't get away from the Cowboys.
I've tried to polish up on the Cowboys, and what I've seen the most from Cowboys fans, like, their big concern is we still don't have a running back. We don't have an RB1. Here's the dirty secret. The Cowboys aren't going to win or lose a Super Bowl based on who their running back is. Running backs don't mean anything. Like, it's the Chiefs. It doesn't matter who's standing behind Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that's just it. Ain't nobody in front of him. There ain't no Patrick Mahomes to stand in front of this running back.
But that's the point, is it doesn't matter who your running back is if you've got Dak Prescott at quarterback. You're limited. And so saying like, oh, we got to use a first-round pick on a running back, that's a waste, because you would have had that first-round running back standing behind Dak Prescott, you'd have the same results. As far as the running back goes, you're right. I think that, in Texas, you got to have a tailback. But I do think that there's some of the anger about Zeke, because keep in mind, they were paying Zeke even though Zeke wasn't here. Yeah.
So now he's back, and we're paying him from before, and then we're paying him again. And
they call that the double dip.
Yeah, man. And he's dipping well. But the problem is, if if it was anybody other than Zeke, if we had signed Dalvin Cook or anybody else that is the same dude, everybody would have been overjoyed. But they bring Zeke back and they go, well, you let him go and you're so stupid you brought him back. They brought an old running back because he can pick up the blitz. That's why they brought this cat back. That's it.
That's the job now for running backs. Unless there's 3 or 4 running backs who are above replacement level.
Right.
Every other running back is just a disposable part, which sounds terrible, but it's just the truth.
If Zeke has 1,400 yards rushing this year, something terrible's happened.
Yeah.
Something terrible's happened to Dak. Something terrible's happened to CD. Something terrible has happened. If he gets
terrible's happened
yards.
to Trey Lance. Zeke's he's been running the Wildcat because every Cowboys quarterback's head fell off.
So we don't want that. I don't think Jerry wants that, obviously.
Yeah. So that's not the goal. But I would say I would caution that any concern you've got about we don't have a running back. No, that's not going to be what
we got a guy that you ran into at the bar. Have you seen him?
No.
Our third stringer? You ever seen our running back?
No.
Oh, you need to take a look at him. He's about the size of the guy you met at the Roo Pub.
Oh.
You haven't seen him?
No.
Well, you need to take a picture. Deuce
Vaughn?
Yeah,
I know Deuce.
We got him. We're gonna release the beast.
I know Deuce from his Wildcat days.
See the two when you add that up, that's 4, and that's how tall he is.
Yeah. Well, I don't talk about players' heights on the radio or the interwebs anymore. Kyler Murray's had me blocked since he was in college because I said something about his height. And how many years has that been?
He's a cute little quarterback, though.
I'm blocked by 2 starting quarterbacks in the league, which is strong work, I think.
Is Cam Newton the other one?
No, Deshaun Watson is. And this is the thing about me. I never at the athlete. And I think it's lame when someone quote tweets you and ats the athlete and look what he said about you. But in both these instances, I think both times guys searched their own name and they were like, yeah, enough of this guy. I mean, Deshaun, I worked in the city with, he knew who I was and he decided, no, I'm not dealing with this.
The happy baby.
Yeah. Yeah. The happy ending, happy baby,
the
whatever.
Happy baby pose. I can't unsee it.
Yeah. Whatever it is. That was our boy Deshaun. All right. I think that's enough Cowboys for the day. I know it's more than I planned on talking. We had a big rundown set out and I was like, I didn't think we were going to be talking much Cowboys, but it's good conversation.
You can't get past it, man. It is the never-ending story of there's no plot. We just make it up as the day goes on.
I want to get into before we hit the last hour. In the last hour, I'm going to ask for some help from the audience in the last hour because there's something big going on in pop culture and I'm not up on it.
Well, how big could it be then?
It's huge. It's huge according to the kids. I'm a 43-year-old man, and had this exact thing popped up 5 years ago, I would have been all over it. I think I'm old and tired now is what it is when it comes to stuff like this. So I'm going to ask for some audience interaction on it. I wanted to bring up another thing that happened at the Roo Pub on our group outing. Jason Minix is already holding a grudge against me. He thought that, and maybe you can attest to this. Is this a realistic statement? He was saying we should have been at that fight.
Oh, it's your fault.
We should have been at that fight.
This is all your fault.
And
it's not your fault. We don't blame you, but the situation of which you are a part.
Jason Minix blames me that he wasn't in Vegas this week.
I blame you too. But it's not your fault, but it's your fault. You know what I mean? You had no control over the situation, but you are in fact the reason that I didn't get to see Mario Barros.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, like I said, it's not your fault, but it's your fault.
Do you want to explain how?
I will in a minute.
We've got a minute now. Yeah, let's.
You didn't know. In fact, we had heard through the back channels of the sporting world that we were going to run into you, that you were going to be there too. And because you lived there.
Yeah.
And, we had been out to Vegas. Joe and Jason and our crew had been out there a couple weeks back for a fight in a different casino, granted, but we're out there for another fight, and we get another call. The fight world, if you don't know, has been kind of dispersed. When Showtime got out of boxing, a lot of the guys that we knew kind of spread to a lot of different places. So now we got avenues into some boxing stuff that we never did before, because all the Showtime dudes are all in these different places, and we were always really tight with the Showtime crew. So now we got into this thing, and we get a call like, hey, we got seats, come out and do your show, Canelo, yada, yada. And we're like, yes. And Barrios is there. We'll do some shows, and Morning Crew's going to head out. And then, the timing just started getting weirder and weirder. And we knew you were coming, and we didn't want to be gone the weekend before you got here and all of the stuff that was going on. And it was just poor timing. But we're not mad at you, but it's your fault.
I think Minix is mad.
Well, he might be, but Minix, he'll get over it.
Okay.
He'll get over it. He'll get over it.
I mean, listen, there's going to, I've had very good relationships with all these boxing people. There are
many opportunities.
I mentioned that I'm a big boxing fan. I've always been, and I have a good following for combat sports, and the powers that be with these companies have always treated me as such. And in fact, several of them reached out to me once I announced that I was taking this job, and they were excited because San Antonio is a big fight market for them.
I think we're the second best fight city in the country.
Behind what?
Vegas.
Okay. I think that the truth is, like any city where there's a large minority population, especially for pay-per-view boxing, they want you there. So they'll fly if you're New York, LA, San Antonio, Houston, Miami, Baltimore. These are the cities that are very important to boxing people. Like, this is where the majority of their pay-per-view buys are going.
And it's also their farm system. We got a lot of fighters.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I think that we're part of that orbit of fight cities, because San Antonio, you just described what we are. I mean, we're kind of a rough city, and we got some fighters that come out of here, and Barrios is just a classic example of this. So it's your fault, but we're going to have plenty of opportunity.
Opportunities will come.
But, we should have been there.
I'm going to let Minix know that he will go to Vegas more because of me than he'll miss out on it.
Well, see, that's not necessarily good for him either. It's not good that he's there all the time. He's not a very good gambler.
Oh, no?
No.
Neither is Joe.
Well, Joe's wife makes up for any of the Joe problems.
Oh,
she'll bail him out more than once.
Is she a winner, or is she's
a winner?
The breadwinner
wins.
Okay.
Some people just win at stuff. She does.
Okay.
She's fun to be out with.
That is good.
And Joe just,
yeah, Joe
was for the ride.
Joe was watching he had bet on the he bet on the Nuggets, laid points with the Nuggets.
Yeah, he had like 4.5.
It's like, what a dumb call for game one. You knew.
We warned him.
You knew Minnesota was going to be up for it. That's just such a square play. But, you live, you learn. I won my big bet on Saturday.
Okay, so your big bet was it was a UFC fight.
Yeah, Joe Anderson burrito. Not burrito. Just burrito.
Because he's Brazilian. They don't.
Yeah, they don't do burritos in Brazil.
There weren't really like champions going on Saturday.
There was one title fight. The main event was a title fight.
As we were watching, and we had two title fights going on out at the Root Pub. We had the Barrios fight, and we had Canelo fight. I'm not a convert. I'm not. But I will tell you, I enjoyed UFC the other night more than I enjoyed the boxing match.
Good.
I did. I enjoyed. There was much. Here's the problem.
I'm going to convert you.
Well, the thing is, if there was some staying power in the UFC, if there were guys that lasted more than about 3 years, I think it would be much more applicable to a lot of people.
The guy that fought in the co-main event, Jose Aldo, has been in the UFC for like 15 years. I mean, he's like one of the.
How many of those guys are there though?
There's probably 15, 20. Like you've got to. I mean, it's hard to maintain high level. Like when you're fighting 3 times a year, especially at the lower weights, which Aldo fights at a lower weight. Your athleticism fades.
Right.
And like the lower your weight is, the more important being highly athletic is to me in that sport. And heavyweights can last a long time because as long as you can take a punch and throw a punch, you can make it at heavyweight. But these lower weight classes, young guys take over quickly. But that's why it was fun to watch Jose Aldo get a win. In Brazil in front of his people over a good, young, hungry kid. But yeah, I'm going to convert you, man. I'm going to get you in on this stuff.
I'm up there. I remember when it first started kicking in, and like Anderson Silva and Liddell and those guys, and there was some staying power with them. So I would watch them fight, and maybe 2 years later see them fight again. Like, oh, I know this cat. I'll pay and I'll watch. And then we got into that period where the level of competition escalated to the point where they just couldn't maintain. And so, 2 years later at UFC, whatever, next number, none of the dudes I saw 2 years before, most of them weren't even in the game anymore.
This is why, though, Chuck Liddell is a good example of why guys don't have too much staying power anymore, because Chuck Liddell had like 5 or 6 more fights than he should have.
Yeah.
Because he was a draw. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the names were a bigger thing than the sport itself was. So people would tune in to see Chuck Liddell.
And he was just,
it was like the ghost of Chuck Liddell, and it was sad. So I'm glad that guys like that get the hell out before, you turn into Chuck Liddell. But yeah, there was some hard to watch times for some of those guys. So I'm glad that some of them get out of here. All right, we're going to do a giveaway here.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know how to do this. I guess for these, we'll just do something like caller. What caller do you go to?
That depends on the value of the band. Like if we want them to work for it, if we want to keep
if this was Pink Floyd, I would make them work.
Oh yeah, this would be a call number 40.
But this is Bricks in the Wall. So this is like do we call them a tribute band or a cover band? I don't know.
To me, most of them are just cover bands, but if you're wearing the right clothes.
Okay, so here's the deal. We've got Steel Panther at Aztec Theater. And we've got Bricks in the Wall at Aztec Theater. I'm going to say caller 9 gets first choice.
That's cool. Yeah.
And caller 10 gets second choice. The Bricks in the Wall playing June 22nd at Aztec Theater. Steel Panther May 18th at Aztec Theater. If you don't win, you can go to livenation.com. You can get your hands on some tickets there. Caller 9 gets first choice. Caller 10, second choice.
Yeah, buddy.
You get what we call the leftovers. I'm not going to tell these bands who the leftover band was. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but caller 10 gets the leftovers. So there you go. That's at 210-656-3776. All right. The last hour of the new morning huddle coming up. I don't know. We've got a big meeting with the big wigs after this to see how we did.
Yeah, we got to deal with the suits.
We'll see if we blew it or not. So if you guys want to email our bosses and say, "Hey, great first show," now's the time to do it, because in an hour we've got a meeting. So we'll be back. Last hour of the show coming up. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
PSA for anyone who's not the best at remembering dates. Mother's Day is May 12th. Luckily, finding something she'll love is easy. Just go to Kohl's. I got a Sephora fragrance set for $35. Then with the extra 20% off, I scored cute PJs for just $19.99 and jewelry for under $30. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash and found even more great prices across the store. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end May 12th. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Febreze. Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girls.
Hey, hit the road. How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness, and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're gonna have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and their regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics?
My elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
Maybe it's time to ask your checking account. What have you done for me lately? My Advantage Checking from Generations Federal Credit Union does more. My Advantage Checking pays you 2 days early, plus shopping rewards, identity protection, and much more. My Advantage Checking treats you right. So make the switch. Learn more at Generations Federal Credit Union. Member owned, community grown. Member eligibility requirements apply. For complete terms and conditions, visit mygenfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
San Antonio Sports Star.
The NBA playoffs second round are set and ready to go. The Cavs beat the Orlando Magic 106-94 behind Donovan Mitchell's 39 points. Up next, they'll face the number 1 seeded Celtics tomorrow. The number 2 seed Knicks open their second round series tonight with the Indiana Pacers. Madison Square Garden playing host at 6:30. It's game 2 between the T-Wolves and Nuggets, in Denver and Minnesota leads the series 1-0 after stealing game 1 on Saturday. Tip-off in Denver set for 9. The Texas Rangers took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals with a 3-2 win in extra innings yesterday. Tonight, they start a roadie against the Oakland A's with first pitch at 8:40, a game you can catch live on San Antonio Sports Star at 8 o'clock. The Astros dropped 2 of 3 against the Mariners, falling 5-4 in the finale. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right. They're back on the Morning Huddle. Did we take my video off? What happened?
I'm not sure.
Oh. I mean,
yeah.
What a choke job
Did
by
you?
you.
Did
Come
you?
on, man.
Did you?
Sorry.
Is your feed gone?
No, it's still showing here.
You see your picture?
I see my picture on this, but not on the YouTube feed.
I don't know what's going on.
I see what's going on here. You guys are trying to bully me off the air
well,
already.
I think what's on screen now looks pretty good. I don't know what the problem is. Look at that guy.
I think you have to turn on your camera.
I think you need to. Yeah.
All right. I'll.
Now we're back. Now you're back. Kind of.
No.
You're
Yeah.
just a white.
Now it says my page is unresponsive. I wanted to give you some credit. I thought you did a hell of a job, bang up job on the Sports Center updates today.
Oh my gosh. Oh, isn't it great?
I mean,
that's my favorite thing to do in the world, Art. I just like owning this every morning.
I think
I actually hate it, man.
I think today you did good though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Little attaboy here and there. I don't like doing it.
Well,
but I do it
better you than me.
Well, no, it's a worthy thing.
Rob,
to have
I'm a
done.
star. I don't do those
That's
things.
that's kind of the thing. How
I
some are born to greatness. Others have it thrust upon them.
When we were negotiating me coming in, I said, "Listen, I'm a big noise. I don't do Sports Center."
Oh my gosh, I never thought I'd be doing them either.
And they said, "Don't you worry. I'll make Rob."
Like I said, some are born to it. Others have it, given to them. Others have it thrust upon them. I'm feeling honored to get to do such things and give the people all that they missed the night before.
So here's what I want to know. And Edwin is the youngest guy on our little staff here, so I'm gonna ask him first. And if the answer is no, I'm gonna ask someone in the audience to help me out here. I mentioned that there's something big going on in the pop culture world, and I am out on it right now. I'm like an old man. the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef. Edwin, and I'm not asking you this just because you're black. I'm asking you because you're the youngest guy here. Are you aware of what's going on with this beef?
I know there's a beef, but I don't know much about it.
Okay. I need someone to
why
let me
didn't
know.
you ask me?
Because I already know you don't know.
You didn't ask me. I'm down with the set.
Are you really?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm reading it right now.
I said Drake, and you were like, "Oh, the North Carolina quarterback, Drake."
No, I actually, when you say Drake, all I can think of is hot sauce, and we'll just leave it at that.
I think I know what's happened here. I think my computer is dying. It was running the video. It's not built to go 4 hours and make video, I think.
No, therein lies the rub. You need.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give you some juice.
That's a rookie mistake.
I'll give you some juice.
Don't worry about it. No, we're good.
I got juice.
We're good.
Take the juice.
Thanks. I like it a juice.
You like it a juice?
I like it a juice. Oh, you got the wrong juice here.
What?
No, there's no good juice.
You got the.
That's
wow,
no good juice.
You got the new and improved.
Yeah, but
well,
that's all right.
I say everybody tune in and look at the
Rob
look at the screen right now, man. It doesn't. I mean, look at the beauty that.
It's going to be Rob's head exclusively on this
if I had
thing.
any idea? I'd take my glasses.
All right, but I need to know. I need someone to fill me in on what started this beef and what I'm missing out on.
It seems. First of all, these aren't. If you're going to say rap, if it's part of the culture and they're going back at each other, these are the two of the softest cats out there. Of all the dudes out there that could be getting into some kind of tiff, these two?
Yeah, like, listen, I'm not
in a slap fight.
I'm not like the biggest rap guy out there. I do, especially new rap, but I do like Kendrick Lamar. But I don't know this for a fact. I think Kendrick Lamar is like 4'9". I think he's like a really small dude. He's almost like Tom Cruise. Like, you don't realize how small he is
to rap on a box.
Yeah, I think they do stuff like that. But it's one of those things where
you think,
like, if you're beefing, you better either have some people with you or you better have a weapon, something, because. But then I think about Drake, and I'm like,
Drake's a B, man.
Yeah,
Drake,
what's he gonna do?
these
Beat
punks.
somebody up?
See, that's it. When you tell me that there's some kind of tiff between over what? Who? What could those two cats?
Well, that's what I want to
possibly
know.
Be mad at each other for?
Do we have any calls on this, Edwin, or do I need to?
Not yet.
Okay, 210-656-3776. A bunch of people are saying Kendrick won. Blah blah blah. But I need to know what started it. I need to know.
Okay, here Drake alleges Lamar physically abused his fiancée, that Lamar's child might not be his, and that the California rapper is living a double life full of infidelity.
So wait a minute. Now rappers are busting on other rappers for cheating on their wives?
It's a new day, man.
What
it's a brand new day.
I mean, what kind of world are we living
It
in?
was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. What happened?
Imagine like
sobriety, monogamy,
yeah,
and rap. I don't think that's gonna fly.
Imagine like a rock beef where, like, somebody saying, "Oh, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith cheating on his wife, doing cocaine
on the road,
snorting that cocaine." It's like, yeah, that's what rock and roll guys do. Famous rappers that are out on the road, how many days a year? I got news for you. They're probably getting some side action.
I'm laughing at some of these lyrics.
Rap beef about infidelity. Wow, I never thought I'd see the day. Give me some lyrics.
No,
give me some of the.
I'll give you want to talk about. We are in a new day and age. Kendrick used the word Ozempic in a rap. Ozempic is now in a lyric.
Okay.
The fat medicine?
Yeah.
That's now in a rap lyric. He accused Drake of using Ozempic and hires escorts, alluding to the rapper getting a Brazilian butt lift, otherwise known as a BBL.
That, I will be honest.
So now my day, we had like Tupac, Biggie, we had legit tiff. We had legit to the streets tiff. This is over Drake getting a butt lift.
Tupac opened his diss track on Biggie talking about he made love to his female dog and then called him an overweight mother lover. Like,
well, this one, Drake got a Brazilian butt lift. That we're in a brand new world, man.
Times they are a change.
Look at that big ass. That's fake. You got a fake big
ass. It would be one thing if he called him out for being a fake ass. He called him out for having a fake ass.
Lamar raps, him and Weinstein should be in a cell for the rest of their life. He hates black women, hypersexualizes them, and then with kinks of a nympho fetish, grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better. Oh, I'm starting to get it now.
But now, I mean, you're still like,
fight.
He's like, that's another thing though. Now it's like you're using women. You're now it's in rap beef. There's all this stuff about not being monogamous. This is it's a different age, man.
So would you prefer this or Taylor Swift whiting about her ex-boyfriend? I prefer this.
Taylor Swift's the songbird of our generation, Rob. I don't know if you're.
I'll tell you what.
If you're gonna badmouth Taylor Swift, we're gonna have some real trouble.
Taylor take Lamar down. Taylor would slap because Taylor's like 6'5", right?
I don't know if she's that tall, but she's taller than Kendrick Lamar.
I'll take her over Lamar 3 rounds.
And all natural ass. You know, I can tell because she ain't got one. So if she had one of those lifts, I'd know about it. But Taylor's all natural. But listen, I'm not here to judge the content of these diss tracks. I'm just a little disappointed, to be honest. It's
dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world. Should be teaching you times tables or watching Frozen with you or at your 11th birthday party singing poems with you. Instead, he be in the Turks paying for sex and popping perks, says Lamar about Drake.
So Drake's not a good father.
Evidently not.
Boy, the rap game is
you see his ass, though?
I bet it's thick. Thick with 2 C's. Is that what they say? I think so. I think that's the
I'm not.
You don't know anything about that?
Drake. Did you see him play with the Kentucky basketball team? Remember when he wore at that moment I checked out. At that moment I was like, yeah,
there's a long-standing tradition of if Drake shows up wearing your team's gear, you're going to lose. That also goes for Ted Cruz. Like those two guys, I've seen them show up at all these games wearing gear, and it's like I want to know what happens if they show up rooting for opposite teams
at the same time.
If they I want to know whose force is more powerful, Ted Cruz's or Drake's, who has
streams there,
who has the bigger sports fandom curse. But I remember people when Ted Cruz showed up at the Longhorn Washington game, they're like, no, get him out of here. What have you done? Sure enough, no national title for the Longhorns.
Should have gone to Cancun where he was supposed to be.
Well, I'm not here to discuss where politicians should be. I just think it's not at sporting events. I'm not using my tax dollars to go pay for you to make Texas sports teams lose. I can tell you that much.
I'm reading rap lyrics here. I'm suddenly a Kendrick Lamar fan.
Are you?
The more I read about this, the more I respect Kendrick Lamar.
Most people, it looks like most people are saying that he's winning the feud.
It appears so far that he is.
I don't find Drake all that likable. Like he doesn't seem. It feels like sometimes he tries to play tough guy in songs, and I don't look at him and think, "Ooh, that's a tough guy." Like Tupac, I grew up of that era where Tupac seemed like he would do some gangster stuff. I don't think he was a poser.
Now, J. Cole's involved in this too, I think.
From what I'm reading, is he on him? What is he taking a side?
Looks like Drake is and J. Cole are on the same side.
Oh, so it's 2-on-1. This is in wrestling they call that a handicap tag match. They used to have to do that against Andre the Giant because Andre the Giant. I mean, listen, what one person was going to beat Andre the Giant?
A handicap tag match?
Yeah, that's what they would call it. And it wasn't. It's not non-PC. Like that's just what it was called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's more like a golf handicap than what you're thinking.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of,
No, it's not like
it's not that.
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
because
that against Andre the Giant,
it could be. I'm just saying.
That wouldn't even. That would be what they
what's it
call
called?
a squash
handicap,
match.
Handicap. What's it called? Tag team.
A handicap tag match.
Handicap tag match.
Yeah.
I think that's a little. Anyway.
All right. Enough of this.
My search history is weird. Man.
I would imagine.
I don't want you to see.
I would
handicap
imagine
tag match.
it is. All right. On the other side, we're going to go over some of the lines for this tonight's slate. Talk about some point spreads. Talk about who's going to get the job done. ATS. I know some of you guys probably have a little skin in the game in the NBA tonight. Do you have something to do here? This is me throwing it to you.
I have a read.
Am I supposed to? Do I do the whole out thing first?
No, you did it fine.
Okay,
you swung it to me ideal.
Okay,
yeah, that was ideal. I took a ball there. I should have swung for it.
Okay,
I was watching my first pitch.
Okay,
I should have listened to my coach. I should have swung for it.
Fair enough.
It was a meatball. I want to tell you everybody about Institute for Functional Health. My good friend, Dr. Jacob Torres. I walked into his office about 6 years ago now. Weighed about 300 pounds, sweaty, limping, just didn't feel good about myself or anything I was doing. And Dr. Torres looked at me and said, I've talked to a lot of people like you. You probably dieted once or twice and you failed. You watch all your other friends, they're all putting on weight too. And everybody just kind of doing what they're doing and nobody feels good about anything. I was like, Doc, that's exactly where I am. Said, I've worked with folks just like you, and here's the problem. You're looking for immediate results, and this is not what I do here at the Institute for Functional Health. I'm going to teach you how to live a long and healthy life, and in so doing, you're going to lose some weight. And I'm going to put together a program for you that's going to be based in science. There's a way to lose weight. It never has changed, but your biology, things that went into how you gained weight, that's only for you. And he put together a program specifically for me. 6 years later, down about 70 pounds, I'm still with him. And I say this to you, how many people do you know who ever started a program like this who are still on the same program, who happily would recommend Dr. Torres because it works with so many people just like me? So it's up to you to find out. What I recommend, first of all, is go to their website, iffhealth.com. Do your due diligence. But you're not going to know until you talk with Dr. Torres. The number is 210-468-1891. Give him a call. Let him explain to you why he's been so successful, and he has. Once you get started on a program you can live with, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Call him today. Go check out the website. It'll change your life. And when it does, I want you to thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, the NBA playoffs are starting to heat up. In fact, one of the best series there is underway, Minnesota and Denver.
Yeah, we'll have all the reaction from Game 1 and look ahead to Monday night's Game 2. Plus, the big fight over the weekend, Mario Barrios, Canelo, how did they do? What about the Kentucky Derby? How broke is Joe Reinagle? We'll find out Monday at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hi, this is Quentin.
And this is Brianna.
A little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips are how satisfying they are. The chicken strips are amazing. They're always filling, tender, and juicy. Definitely one of my favorite things on the menu.
My favorite thing is the last bite. The last bite is nice and juicy, and it's wrapped up in some crispy breading that keeps it nice and tasty. And being able to scoop up my Chick-fil-A sauce with it, it's just like the best part of the meal. It's an undefeated combo.
Order the chicken strips on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
What companies would you want to work for? Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the prestigious Just Capital 2024 seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 in the banking industry and #1 for their ongoing commitment to workers, offering best-in-class benefits, including a minimum wage of $25 an hour by 2025. Visit justcapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper, and you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code ALAMO for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code ALAMO. Prize Picks. Fantasy, you're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code ALAMO, and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
They're going to have to stop breaking our stuff, man. Our bosses are going to not let us have nice stuff. If you're just joining us and watching live, I hope you see this. We are dealing with a technical problem involving a microphone. He's AJ Hoffman, brand new in the seat, and we're tricking him. This is all like first day stuff. I'm Rob Thompson. This is the brand new Morning Huddle. We're glad you're with us this morning. There we go. Just grab the mic like you're Dean Martin. Need a bottle of scotch on the table.
The problem is this arm here has
spring loaded.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's fiery, man. You can probably lock it in a little, but yeah, it wants to go away. And when you're trying to put that screw back in, it's like,
does Minix just not touch his microphone? I guess
I don't know. I've got to work it a little bit. Well,
there's a lot of jokes with your. I think your bolt's a little short.
Oh, the bolt's
I'm just
way too short. No, I like to think that the hole's too deep.
Well, there's that.
It's the problem.
Kind of like a hot dog running down the hall.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just not a lot of grip.
Not my fault. Don't blame me.
No, I don't.
All right, that's gonna work. Yeah, we're hanging in there. All right. How are we doing on production for the lines? Did we get that up and going?
Do we have like a overly produced?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we're gonna do a segment every day where we kind of tell you what's going. I did come here from Vegas, and I do. I mean, obviously now I'm here in a state where sports betting is
difficult to do legally.
Yeah,
not impossible, but
there's laws.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still interested,
as am I.
And I mean, a lot of us fly to Vegas every day and put in our bets.
Some of us could have been there last weekend.
Some of us could have been.
We could have been.
Could have been. In fact, I was there last
you
weekend.
Were. I endeavored to be.
Yeah,
just didn't work out.
But I think that most people like to know what they're paying for. What the cost is.
Wait. You want to talk about crack production staff? You asked Edwin if we had it, and he said no, and he just put it together. He just created one out of thin air just now.
Let's play it.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You did that in like
that
30
was
seconds.
Incredible,
Yeah.
Edwin. Great job putting that together.
30 seconds of effort, man.
Well done. Well done. Let's take a look at what's going on today. We know we mentioned earlier that the second round of the playoffs is underway in the NBA. Pacers and the Knicks.
Oh boy, age-old rivalry.
A tale as old as time. That's the choke series.
All of it, man. There's been so many fights. Jermaine O'Neal.
I love it.
Ron Artest for back in the day.
Charles Smith missing a layup.
Yeah, I once saw Jermaine O'Neal at it's now Harrah's it's now Caesars in New Orleans. It used to be the Harrah's downtown New Orleans. And he was playing, I want to say about $10,000 a hand. And this was like he was on his rookie contract.
Oh, really? Okay.
It wasn't like known if he was going to really make it in the league. Probably, I mean, I don't want to say he's lucky that he did, but it could have gone poorly.
Well, I'll tell you this, in my experience with him, and now he lives up in Dallas now. He runs a Nike Pro Skills AAU basketball program.
Okay.
He is but I knew him back when he was playing. He is one of the more intimidating cats I've ever been around.
Yeah.
That dude was,
yeah.
When you talked to him, you started with sir and you acted polite.
Well, he's not playing for the Pacers
No, he's not.
tonight.
And that's one of the problems.
That is one of the problems. The Pacers are 5.5-point dogs at the Knicks. They opened up as 6.5, so some money's come in on the Pacers. I generally don't want to lay points with in game one of a series.
Mm-hmm.
I think that game one, both teams are going to show up fired up. I don't think there's many home team blowouts in game ones. We saw that with the Nuggets.
Does Minnesota worry you? I mean,
Minnesota, we're in game two now. So what we saw if you laid the points with the favorite
you saw
in
Minnesota
game one,
do it. Can Indianapolis do it? Can the Pacers roll in and do this?
I think they absolutely can. I mean, all it takes. Listen, we've seen this Knicks team. They live and die with what happens with Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
If Jalen Brunson scores 40, Knicks probably win. If Jalen Brunson has an off night, remember he had a couple off nights against the Sixers. Like the first couple games against the Sixers, he was bad. And it becomes a series. So I think now 5.5 points. I mean, I certainly would have loved to have the 6.5. But yeah, I still lean that way. I just don't think in game one of series that the home team typically is going to run away. Total in that game sitting at 217. And I think you'll also note this. As the series go on, those totals are going to get lower and lower. The more intense the game is, the lower the total goes, and rightfully so.
How much of Jalen Brunson's run in the playoffs, but he's had a hell of a season, no question.
Sure.
Is repeatable?
That's interesting.
Because
I think Jalen Brunson's a good player. I don't think Jalen Brunson's as good as
he's doing, right? Are we allowed to say that? Because it sounds like we're not allowed to say that this cat feels this is not that. I don't want to compare him to Jeremy Lamb because he's not. I mean, it's a whole other world. But this feels like there's some New York Madison Square Garden magic going on that only lasts for so long. And I'm afraid that Brunson's magic.
Did Brunson finish top 5 MVP voting?
He had such a late run. I'm not sure.
They haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Oh, they haven't done that yet? Okay.
But do you get the sense that yeah, I mean, he probably did. I'll bet he's probably third or fourth. Yeah.
I bet he does. It's going to be, it'll be Jokic. It'll be Luka. And I think he's going to be in that conversation.
He should be, certainly by the last month. And I want this to be transferable. I want it to be repeatable. And I know that the Pacers don't play a lot of defense. So if it's going to happen, it'll be repeatable this time.
Now, the Pacers did make a change late in the season, and they got better defensively. They changed their lineup. Mm-hmm. They got a little more serious on the defensive end. And because every Pacers game early in the season was going over. There was a time where that hit the wall and it stopped.
Did it change when they got Siakam?
Yeah.
You think? Is that what it was?
In the other game, the T-Wolves and the Nuggets are 5.5-point favorites. Yeah. After game one, I don't know that I'm looking to do that. I think these two teams are very evenly matched. And totals at 207. I think the last game ended 206. So it's right around there.
It's going to show me a lot. Because this Timberwolf team could easily just pack their bags and go home and call it a win. They don't have to do anything tonight and call this weekend a success.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't.
But if they win it, oh boy.
Do you think that Finch
Nuggets
and these guys,
notice.
Can you imagine? Down 0-2. Do you think I don't even think they're capable of it. And the only reason I say that is Anthony Edwards, 2 weeks ago, I heard him say, you know what? I never even won a playoff game before.
Yeah.
He literally had not won one until 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. That's what worries me about tonight. I think that they're going to profit take. I think they're going to pack it in. I think they're going to, and they're not going to try to do that. I think just mentally, you have a safety net now that you got a game. So you miss a couple of shots and you start thinking, we'll get them at home.
Maybe. In Major League Baseball, I'm not going to go through all these lines, but I will tell you the Texas Rangers with Andrew Haney on the mound are minus 139 on the road at Oakland, who's throwing Alex Wood. And the only Stanley Cup playoff game tonight is Boston and Florida. Boston off that emotional Game 7 overtime win. They are dogs on the road at the Panthers, who just sent the Lightning packing. Florida minus 160 favorite.
How much baseball do you play?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole. It's hard, man.
It's too early for me.
You got to handicap umpires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very difficult game to bet on, I think. I dabble.
Yeah,
I
think every now and then you see something you have to, but I'm not a baseball guy until I get some trends. It's too early for me.
I bet 2 games yesterday, and I won both, and I think I got lucky to win both. One of them, I bet on the Mariners to beat the Astros. They had a walk-off home run, beat Josh Hader, and then the other one was I played Tampa against the Mets and went to extra innings, and I stole that one too. So I'm going to say I got lucky. But I'm not super confident on baseball stuff for sure, especially like you said at this time of the year. No. All right. We are going to take our final break. And when we come back, we're going to put a bow on the first episode of the new Morning Huddle.
Act appropriately.
Yeah. We'll be right back. It's 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-881-4242. That's 800-881-4242.
Joe Reinagel here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
For the last 4 decades, San Antonio sports has dared this community to dream big through the transformational power of sport. For 40 years, we've inspired youth to get in the game, motivated San Antonians to live healthy, been a force behind places to play, and hosted events that impact. As we celebrate 40 years of dreaming big, we invite you to dream big along with us. To support our mission, donate today at sanantoniosports.org.
What companies would you want to work for? Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the prestigious Just Capital 2024 seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 in the banking industry and #1 for their ongoing commitment to workers, offering best-in-class benefits, including a minimum wage of $25 an hour by 2025. Visit justcapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Mike Greenberg. Let's talk the biggest stories in sports weekday mornings at 10. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 1250.
It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You can hear the Blitz with Jason and Joe later today.
2 o'clock.
And what time are we going to be on?
Well, we're scheduled for 3.
Okay. And we'll see. We'll see if we come in at 3. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
Listen,
we're footloose,
This is the other thing now, Rob. Remember when I told you I'm a big star?
Uh-huh. You are a rock star. You get stopped in the halls.
Sometimes we're going to be able to dictate our own times here soon.
See, we ride the wave. So
If you tell me, hey, 4 o'clock's better for me than 3, we're going to make them change it.
Actually, see, 4 worse. We want to do this early.
Yeah.
We want to get this out of the way.
All right.
We don't want to
move up to 2:15.
I don't like traffic. I know people listening right now are facing some red lights, some brake lights. I don't like it.
That sucks, man.
Oh, that's why we're here.
That's the goal. I mean, I want to make it where you guys, if you're sitting in traffic and you hate your life right now, we're going to try to make your life a little bit better. I think we've had a fun first episode. I wanted to talk a little bit of baseball and hit on 2 things that happened over the weekend. First of all, sure enough, my first weekend in town, see the San Antonio Missions in the news. They trade a player in the middle of the game while he's on second base. They pulled this guy. I'm not going to pretend like I know his name. I never heard of the dude in my life.
Yeah,
but they pulled the guy off second base and basically told him, "Hey, man, you're headed off to Miami or where I don't know, but you're traded." And he's like, "Look, they're saying come on off," and he's like, "Who, me? What did I do?" They take him off the field and trade him in the middle of the game. He's got to walk off the field giving hugs to his team. I mean, that's no way to do things. That's no way to do business. If the guy's on the trading block, don't play him in the game. It just didn't make any sense to me.
This guy, his name is Nathan Mortarella.
Okay.
He was standing on second base, and word came down from San Diego that he'd been trading to the Marlins. And they pulled him off mid-game. It's one of those unintended consequences. I get it, because if I'm the Marlins, I don't want him hurt. I just trade for him. He slides into second and breaks the thumb, and I'm out. I get it. But maybe it just isn't affected until the game is over.
Like maybe if you're the Marlins, say, hey, let's talk this after the game.
Yeah, well, I'll sign it afterwards, and if he breaks his thumb, I won't make the deal. But we'll make it, whatever it is. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
What an odd move. Funny that it happened here in San Antonio.
I wonder where, I hope he didn't get traded to some god-awful little town in the middle of nowhere. Like, I know that San Antonio.
Miami is a pretty big.
Well, I don't think he's going directly to the Marlins. Maybe he is.
Have you seen the Marlins?
Well, that's true. That's true.
Whatever he's doing, if somebody's trading for, they might throw him out there. Yeah.
It may be that at the end of the destination could have been San Diego. Now it's Miami.
So what's the how's the ballpark here? Like I haven't been to a Missions game before.
Here's the problem. The Missions have been in San Antonio in one version or another for over 100 years. We've had them for a long time. Yeah, this is this part of us. And we've shared them with the Dodgers not shared, but we've been an affiliate with the Dodgers. For a lot of the time, we were the San Antonio Dodgers. Became the Missions, worked with Minnesota, San Diego, on and off. We went AAA a couple of years ago and lost the current Missions idea. The ownership stayed around. AAA now is dead. We're back down to AA. We're trying to get a stadium built. And there's something going on downtown. Where we currently play is on Highway 90 West.
I've seen it. I've seen the stadium. Well, I mean,
Not
just from the
anything to
high,
write
I've seen it
home
from the
about.
highway.
You know, we built it there. It was a necessary build, but it was not the ideal place. We love our baseball. We love our missions. We want better for them, and they need better.
Yeah, I think San Antonio, like they this is a AAA city for sure.
We are.
But you've got to have a modern stadium now. Like, and when I came up in Austin when the Express first started, and that stadium's great. They've upkept it really well. It's still a nice stadium. I've been to the stadium down in Corpus, which is it's AA place, but it's very nice. The stadium in Sugar Land, which wasn't built for AAA, it was built for the independent leagues or whatever, but it's a good stadium.
This one is not.
The AAA stadium in Vegas is awesome. It's small, but it's awesome.
There's a move afoot to build downtown, and there's I think they're mimicking both the Vegas, but really ideally I think they'd like the Nashville setup where, you know, it's right in the middle of an entertainment district. The stadium would not only play baseball but host concerts and that, like, and there's a couple of spots downtown that have been available, but no one has really closed the deal. I think the first domino that has to fall will be the Spurs, and once that area is taken care of and the money is spent. Keep in mind that the missions are now currently owned in part by former Spurs Manu and David and all that. So there's an attempt to, you know, get the roots deeper, influx of cash, and maybe get a stadium built in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I was in college with the old stadium in Nashville.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, not good.
Yeah, they need.
I've never been to the new one, but I've heard it's a lot different experience. Like, imagine putting a stadium in the worst neighborhood in Nashville and saying, "Yeah, bring your family out,
spend the evening.
Yeah, come hang out with us." It's
Well,
like,
wait till you go down to our beautiful Frost Center. Not in the best part of town.
Okay. The other baseball story I wanted to touch on was, how do you have a stance on robot umps? Are you one of these like old school guys that's like, no, I want it.
No,
Got to have that. It's part of the game.
No, I am all about the eye in the sky, the robot, whatever will speed the process and be right as much as possible. I'm in for whatever that is.
There was a game, and I wasn't watching this game, thank God, between the White Sox and the Cardinals this weekend. And I'm going to paint the picture for you. It is 6-5 White Sox. Extra innings. Bases loaded. And I think in the bottom of the 10th, the Cardinals are up. It's raining so hard, they can't get one more out done.
Okay.
Which is annoying. To me, if it's bases loaded, bottom of the 10th, 2 outs, that the next at bat, either a hit or a strikeout, whatever it is, a hit or an out decides the game.
Do it in the rain.
Just do it and let them cry that they should have stopped it. I don't care. I would have just done it. Instead, they said, timeout.
Right. Let's wait it out.
3-hour delay.
For one pitch or 2 pitches?
I think it was 2 or 3 pitches. But it's the first batter for sure. And he rings him up on a ball that's like probably 9 inches off the plate. And it's like, imagine waiting around 3 hours and then losing the game instantly on like a terrible call. And the umpire just takes his mask off and is like looking around at the empty stadium, of course, because everybody's left. But I mean, we got to get robots.
I'll tell you this, though.
We got to get robots.
I do aspire to be a major league referee, umpire. I aspire to be a home. That's the best job in the world.
It's a tough job.
It's a tough job. Where else do you have absolute impunity and immunity?
That is one of the good things. Like
a judge and a major league home plate referee, umpire. Those are the two people that have absolute control of their environment. They don't like you, they'll throw your ass out.
Yeah. As someone who I used to coach club baseball, and I've been,
hey man, my heart goes out to you there.
I've been removed from a couple games myself, and sometimes I thought unjustly, sometimes justly, but sometimes unjustly. I can imagine at the major league level, it's
okay. So
we saw the guy who threw out the Yankees manager a couple days ago for
just didn't
do anything. Yeah. He's like, I didn't say anything. I don't care. Beat it.
Does that add to it? I mean, that's part of baseball, though. We need this, right? They can't legislate away the personality of the umpire. I think that's why because I keep thinking, why don't you fix this? When you become a butt of a joke, when that Boone thing was played 1,000 times on stations across this country, when you're a joke, when you are being made fun of as like a league, you'd think somebody'd go, well, why don't we fix this? They're making fun of us. I mean, this is silly.
My son plays high school baseball, and when there's a bad call, this happened like a week ago. Someone yelled, "Okay, Angel Hernandez."
See?
When there's a name that associates how bad of a job someone is doing, and not only is everybody involved not making a change, like that guy still has a job. He's like a tenured umpire.
And how I should know who Angel is. I honestly should have no idea who they're talking about. And you say it, I know, oh yeah, that idiot.
That's the bad umpire.
Right.
Joe West was that way for a long time.
Basketball used to have it, but they kind of legislated those guys out.
Well, those guys were getting paid by mobsters.
Yeah, well,
that's
Donahue, yeah. But you remember those old guys like Bennett Salvatore and Joey Crawford and all those guys that were like the modern day baseball dudes. It was their court, and they were going to decide who was going to win.
Well, I mean, the Scott Foster, Chris Paul
never-ending problem there.
I mean, it doesn't matter where he goes, but yeah, anytime you know an official's name, the only exception to me is if you're known for something other than your officiating,
like being yoked or
at hockey league. Yeah, that to me, he's the most famous NFL ref, and it's all because he does the flex when it's first down. It's like, yeah, first down. Then it's okay for me to know who you are. Otherwise, I should never know your name.
But would it take so much away from the game?
No. Like, wouldn't it be great if we could just stop, like, talking about decisions that cost teams games? Like, to me, especially as someone who's into sports betting.
We'll see.
Just get it right. And if you lose because you were wrong about your handicap or whatever, that's fine. But when you lose on human error, boy, that's real difficult to swallow.
You said get it right. Do we want it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't we?
I don't know. I think most of the time, I think we do. But I do think that there is a need for personality in our games. There's a need to have the question call. We don't act like it, but I think we crave it. We crave that kind of thing.
This is where me not being like a diehard fan of any team, like that lives or dies with the results of these games. Like it doesn't, if my favorite football team loses on Sunday, like I'm not one of these guys who sulks about it and is like bummed out for the rest of the week. Okay, you lost, whatever. I way more bummed out if I lose money on a game than if my team loses.
You want to ruin a Cowboys day? Just Dez caught it. We're still rolling around with that. It's been a decade, and we're still rolling around with it.
Now think about that. I'll give you an example, and this is what my point was. You like it when refs screw up when it works in your favor.
Right. We like that kind of. We got away with that one.
Yeah.
The basketball, the football gods were smiling upon us. We earned the good favor of their mistake.
Do you remember the game on Monday Night Football, the Seattle Broncos game? It was Seattle against Denver, and it was like a Hail Mary. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, he didn't catch it. He caught it. He didn't. I think I was the only person who made money on that. So I was like, yeah, it seems like the right call to me. It was, of course, it was the wrong call. But when it works in your favor, you don't care. It's whatever.
It's the gods. It is good fortune smiling on the bold. We worked hard, opportunity met moment, and we won the game because we were prepared.
But yes, I also like the idea of the right team winning games and not letting someone who's not one of the players on the field deciding. So I'm all for robots. I'm all for it. One more thing that's going on. I guess the new Clippers. Is it a show or a movie? Is anyone aware on that? Is it a mini series or a movie?
I think it's like a mini series.
So you think it's kind of like Winning Time?
I think it's going to be like 3 or 4 episodes.
Did you watch Winning Time?
Oh, of course. I hope it comes back for another year.
I don't think it's going to.
You know why I watched it? The hair.
Yeah.
The bad hair.
Yeah.
The wigs.
You want to hear something crazy? Now, when you say the name Pat Riley, the guy who played Pat Riley in that show,
Adrian Brody or Adrian something like that.
Yeah, that's what's come to mind. That's what comes to mind.
That's unfortunate.
Like
man.
that's how I picture him, and I'm like, oh, that's not what Pat Riley really looks like.
Not at all.
But in my head, that's what comes. And now this show Clipped is coming out. What channel is it going to be on? Do we know?
Let's see here.
I mean, I think it's on Hulu.
Let's see. FX it's FX on
okay.
Hulu. FX and Hulu.
Okay.
TV miniseries.
But Lawrence Fishburne is playing Doc Rivers, and he looks like he does look kind of like Doc Rivers,
Dude.
but like if Doc Rivers got stung by bees, like he's portly Doc Rivers.
If you're gonna do him, I would like first refusal on the guy you pick to play me. I'd like to be able to go, really? Him?
Well, speaking of Ozempic, like what if they said, "Hey, Lawrence, we're going to give you this role. We need you to drop 20,
drop a few pounds." Doc asked us,
yeah,
kick in a few dollars if you'll drop some pounds.
Like
But people are going to think that's him.
Because now, inevitably, when I think of Doc Rivers, someone's going to say him after I watch this show, and I'm going to think of Lawrence
Fishburne.
And I'm sorry, but that's what it is. But I mean, other guys lose weight for roles. That happens all the time,
And
right?
Gain weight. The guy that plays the Joker lost like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. So come on, Lawrence, you're an old.
Remember Brendan Fraser did that movie The Whale where he gained like 100 pounds? I'm guessing gaining 100 pounds way more fun.
Probably a lot more fun.
But
I'm looking at all the guys. Okay, so Ed O'Neill is playing Donald Sterling.
That's actually a good get.
There's a guy I don't recognize. JJ Redick has a role. Alvin Gentry, Tyronn Lue. That guy looks like Tyronn Lue.
JJ Redick has a role?
Yeah, there's a guy in his name that's playing Tyronn Lue.
Oh, there's a guy playing.
Yeah,
him.
Charlie McKelvey is playing JJ Redick.
Yeah, I thought you meant JJ Redick had a role in the show.
No, he doesn't have a walkthrough, but maybe he should.
He should. Do you think Ed O'Neill is going to say the N-word? I hope not.
He's going to have to. If it's going to be an honest portrayal, we're going to have to.
How real are we getting here? How real are we? Oh, so look at that. Someone's going to be a Big Baby. Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Now, that's a guy you got.
Jock McKissick.
Got to gain some weight for that role. You got to eat your way into this one.
Yeah, there's a Draymond. There's a Jada Paul. So this is going to be good. I'm excited for this show. Are you a TV guy? Do you like watching these?
I do.
I do too, man.
I do. I hate to admit it, but
I watch a lot of TV.
Speaking of things that I'm not proud of, you watch any of the Jinx?
No, you told me about it.
Dial in on this one. There's only 3 episodes in. It's one of those crazy ones. So no,
you know what? I'm spoiled now. I hate when shows get slow rolled out. I'm so used to like instant gratification that I don't want to wait until next week to watch another episode. Like
I'll move on. I'll forget.
Yeah.
And then I'll stumble on it
if you
3
give
years
me
later.
all 11 episodes at once, I'll sit down one weekend and I'll watch the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Or I'll choose I'm not going to watch it again. But don't make me wait a week to decide.
No, that's to me it's bad. It's bad. It's a bad move now. To me, like I was watching the True Detective on Max,
the one with the 2 chicks in Alaska.
Yeah. And it ended up being a good show.
But by the time we got to the end, I was kind of like,
when you've now invested like several weeks of your life in it, if it's not great, it's frustrating.
Then you go, man, why did I wait for this?
So if it is like I watched Breaking Bad when it was happening, and I remember I didn't mind because it was such a great show.
It's the single greatest show ever to come on TV.
And I was like, I'm a big The Wire guy.
And it's in the conversation. You and I are like mine.
But I didn't mind waiting because it was appointment television with that and now True Detective season 1 is one of the greatest single seasons of television ever
with Woody and
McConaughey. But for that show, I was like, yeah, I'm there. But season 3, I was like, okay, season 4. It was the most recent season. I stand corrected. Season 4 was the most recent one. But I'm like, okay, oh yeah, that came out 2 days ago. I should watch it.
Right.
Appointment television is out for me now. I don't have an appointment
because we can get it anytime we want.
Yeah.
As soon as it's out there. A little, obviously, you brought up that first thing with True Detective. you know, McConaughey in Texas and all that. You know, Woody Harrelson.
I had a beer called McConaughey's last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it? I wonder if he's getting a little cut on that.
I don't know.
Woody Harrelson, his father killed a federal judge here in San Antonio,
I've heard about
assassinated
that.
him. Yeah.
I've heard
So
about
there's a
that.
little bit of a line there with Woody.
There's some people who think they're related.
As far as we've been told.
I don't buy it.
You know, I think he was. I mean, the guy's name was Harrelson. I mean,
wow.
But that's our little draw there, our connection to Woody. Although I don't think he's ever come to San Antonio. I don't think he wants to bring up the old, because his father was an assassin for a drug gang out of El Paso.
And did he get convicted?
Oh yeah, he got the chair.
Oh, he did. He's gone.
You kill a federal judge in Texas, your life is not going to last very long.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. In Texas, like when they say death penalty, it's not.
We ain't kidding.
Yeah, it's not. I've been out on the West Coast where.
I mean, you can debate one way or the other.
Like you're going to be in prison till you die.
Yeah, no, we're going to take care of you pretty quick, fast as possible.
They do seem to do that. Well, I mean, you live and learn, or you live and learn and die.
All right, AJ
depending on how it
Hoffman,
goes.
you have had nearly 4 hours of San Antonio Talk Radio.
How do you feel about it,
man? I will speak for the resounding brigade bar that has come through.
The brigade is on board.
I think they know what we've known. But you were destined to come here. We're excited you're here, and the first day is just the beginning of something spectacular. It's been a genuine pleasure. I cannot wait.
Guess
for what is coming.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's coming. Day 2.
Oh, and then 3.
I'm going to do day 2 tomorrow. I gotta.
We're gonna get a work order in. Make sure you know, because you're a mic grabber. We're gonna get that fixed.
Yeah,
we're gonna get that taken care of.
Yeah, that's an issue.
And moving on. But thanks for everybody for dialing in today and saying the good things that we have known.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I've enjoyed. I'm enjoying San Antonio so far. I'll say that. Everybody's been very hospitable, and I'm hoping that we can keep doing some good radio and make some people smile on their way into work, sitting in this traffic. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Vic. Thanks to you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow right here on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.